why that is
Depends
for
on
you
the game,
guys.
doesn't it? No,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
it's
all.
all
I think they're all white.
it's all blue for us. Like the whole case is just blue.
Wait. Did you say we got screwed? I actually do. I think you guys got screwed. I think it looks good on the
I
spine.
like
Well,
the
The
it
white
looks
white.
better.
exactly like the Wii.
Just saying,
We
I
do
like
have
the
the
white
same spines.
spine better.
No, but it's white, but
Hey, you can't
Welcome
be
to the
complaining
box.
like that. Those
The
boxes are the
game box
stupidest,
argument.
shittiest
Clinical,
spinal
that
shit.
looks clinical as shit.
the case is blue. The head is blue. All the thing
This
is
is
blue,
the
and
shit
it
we
gives
gotta
it.
The
deal with.
balls are blue too.
It's different, yo.
Robert's face is blue. He must have something blue on his screen.
Yeah, that's right. Hold on, let me see. I'll have to put up. Let me put up some the actual YouTube.
Are you sitting in front of the sun?
Retrodust sitting in
kinda.
1980, and his maybe 70s, maybe a 70s TV show color scheme. What's up, Muhammad? Haven't seen you in a while, so he's first one.
Up in these beach.
Yeah, so Terrell's gonna sit this one out. He said he had I think he said it was a headache. So it's just us.
That's weird. I woke up with one this morning. I thought my whole day was gonna be done.
I woke up at 6 a.m. after going to sleep at midnight, so I'm pretty tired, but feeling pretty good now. I'm energized, ready for this. We got What's Up Bad Latency, Lenny Wright. If your head is blue, consult your physician. So anyway, let's start off with the tradition of any new games you started or games you beat in the last week. So clocked it. You did forget one of my favorite parts of last week. You completely forgot that you had played Horizon. Just like completely.
I know.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you started anything new or beat anything this week.
I've been, like I said, I'm in a bad space, man, of playing too much at the same time. But yeah, you're right. I did start Horizon. It was given for free, wasn't it? You know, part of a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 10 games or whatever it was, quarantine games. And I'm not loving it, but I'm actually more impressed with it not than I thought I would be, but it's doing more than I thought it actually did. You know, just in terms of traversal and stuff. There's so many negative things about the traversal side. No, it's not perfect, but you're still able to.
Really great way of spelling out garbage.
No, I just mean I thought like you literally couldn't get up hardly anywhere, but you know you can hop your way up, you know, certain edges and stuff like that. You know, eventually stuff. It's not perfect, but you still feel that bit of freedom. But yeah, you know, I did notice you know, some of the limitations. But
yeah, she can't grab anything. Like if it's like chest high or higher, you just can't make the jump. I wish.
And you know, you got the typical stuff like the zip lines and stuff, which are, you know, just also automatic. I don't really like using them. But I'm actually really, for once, I'm actually really impressed with the performance of the game on cause I got the old base PS4, and you know, for what how that game looks, you know, shit, man, it runs for the most part as smooth as silk. So I'm actually really impressed with it.
Yeah, I don't think it drops below 30 at any point on it.
No, it's really good. So yeah, you know, I find the combat a little wonky and stuff, but maybe I'm just not as good as it yet. But yeah, so I've just been dabbling in Horizon, playing too much Bloodborne, which is taking too much of my time. And obviously I bought the new Pokemon Snap, which I have to admit I am utterly in love with. I think it's beautiful, it's relaxing, it's actually the replayability compared to the first one. God, it's gone out the window. The amount of checkpoints that you need to have for like photos that you take, and to try and get, you know, high scores on each of those. And then when you level up, you got different variants then to the actual level and stuff. It's gonna be I'm gonna be spending a lot of time on that. So the new Pokemon Snap is really good.
Plus, you can
and
go back.
Quite cheap as well.
You can go back and edit the photo within the frame you took and make it.
Yeah, that's right. You can save your photos actually in your album or onto your Switch and stuff to mess around with, which I haven't really done yet because I haven't really taken any great photos. just trying to just capture stuff at the moment and unlock a few things. But yeah, new Pokemon Snap, bit of Horizon, Bloodborne, and just old retro stuff which I'm playing on my Saturn and N64 and stuff like that.
So yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna hate on Pokemon Snap because what I've seen, people seem to be enjoying it, and it does look fun. Like, gives you a reason to go back and play the same area because at nighttime things change and you got to try to get them doing different actions. There's like 4 categories to try to get each Pokemon in, and so I mean, looks like there's quite a bit of depth and replayability. I don't know if I would get a ton out of it, but I am more interested in it than I expected, based on what I've seen. Well, what about you, Robert? Start anything new or finish anything?
Well, I mean, I did play like a few hours of new Pokemon Snap, which was pretty cool. I was like, I played just the tiniest bit of the original, and so I knew obviously exactly what to expect for this new one. But I think I was saying it might be. It's definitely one of the best looking Switch games to me. I think it's a really clean looking game. Like I was really damn impressed personally, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a very relaxing game, you say, but not even that, because even when you're playing through, whether it's your first time or second time, you're really looking out for every single Pokemon you can, and it's always like a new surprise whenever something does change. It's always like, oh, that's new, and you start pressing the trigger, taking the photo a bunch. It's pretty solid, I'm definitely enjoying it for sure, and like, yeah, when you look at the amount of options and stuff, you're like, that's a lot of replay content. Like, it's a lot of replayability, and I know for sure people that really dig deep into this game are gonna get just an insane amount of hours, like way more than I would have
I
thought.
wonder how long it'll take to like actually fill up 100% the required photos.
I'd be surprised if it's like, because I remember someone was saying someone did it for, or at least most of it. I forget what the number was, but it was some way higher number than I would have thought. I forget.
I think to get perfect scores on every single one,
It sounds like
and
super
when
high.
we talk about levels, you'll go like, let's just say you go for the first stage, the forest, and the more unique pictures you capture, you essentially level up, and then when you level up to like level 2 or level 3, on that same course, you get subtle changes with different Pokemon and stuff like that, or new things will appear. So you're going through the same level, but there's new pictures to take care of, and you've got, obviously you unlock, the apples and and all these other different
Well, it unlocks a
things
whole
that you
new
can
version,
use.
essentially a whole level. You can
Yeah,
go back to it.
but yeah,
wow.
to try and get perfect. There's no way I'm gonna get perfect scores. Just no way. You just gonna have to try and get as high as you can, and as good as you can, because it's got a lot more than offer than the original game.
How do you
A lot
feel
more.
it looks in person? Because some of the trailers look good. Other trailers, I was like, we're watching somebody stream it, and I was like, I don't know if it looked as good as the trailer, but it could have just been the stream quality.
That's lovely.
Is it?
I think it's one of the best looking
It's-
Switch games. I really do.
it's
The
absolutely-
character
it's
models
absolutely
look
jubbly.
fantastic.
Yeah, the character models are crazy. I was like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
everything's well populated. Water looks lovely. The skyboxes, trees, the plants, the lighting. It's just a lovely, charming game, and that's pretty much what you wanted from
I think
Pokemon Snap.
Man, they need to make a main line. They need to make a main
I wonder
line.
if a mainline Pokemon could look that good on the Switch.
If Bandai Namco did it, I think so. I think so.
All right, T, what about you? Start anything new or beat anything?
Barely started Monster Hunter Rise. I'm scared to start it because I know it's gonna become Monster Crack as it always does.
What weapon do you choose when you play
I
Monster
mean, I'm
Hunter?
talking through the two, like the beginning. Like I barely started it. And Ever Oasis, which I hadn't touched. I guess 'cause-
I started Ever Oasis as well. I have
yeah,
started.
me bringing it up to you made me say, why haven't I played it yet? So I went back and started playing it. It's pretty cool. It can be, I don't know, it's weird because it can be a little bit difficult going back to 3DS after the Switch, because you can play Switch handheld as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little odd, but yeah, started playing that. It's pretty cool.
Wasn't that 2015 or 2016? I can't remember.
Ever Oasis was 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 27.
that was like
Was it? I know.
literally-
Well, when it was announced, is what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was the end of the 3DS.
Because they made kind of
yeah.
a big deal out of the announcement because of who was involved and stuff, and I was like, I remember, it was the Treehouse or somebody. We got one special announcement coming up. Stay tuned. And I was waiting, and it was it was the last thing. And for me, it wasn't what I was hoping for. I was hoping for something.
It just looked to me. It looked like a 3D Secret of Mana or Legend of Mana or something. So it just had that art style and everything. And what I played so far, I think it looks lovely for the 3DS, and I'll complete it.
Because when I went back and turned on my 3DS before Animal Crossing came out to play Animal Crossing, and I think a little Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I was like still pretty impressed with the 3DS. Even like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, whenever that was. I was more disappointed in Luigi Mansion, how the level structure. That wasn't a problem to me because I didn't really play the first one. I played it like on one rental and got through it when it came out, and I never thought of it again. So when I was playing on 3DS, I wasn't bothered by the breaking up of the levels until I played Luigi Mansion 3. I was like, let me try Dark Moon, and I was so annoyed. I'm like getting involved, and all of a sudden, the little thing kick, whatever the music is. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come back," and you're like, "Are you kidding me?" So, but visually, I thought it held up.
After a while in that game, like, come on.
All right, Retro, why don't you tell us about your Snap impressions and anything else you might have started or finished?
I didn't have time to start anything else, man. Like Pokemon Snap came out, I've been waiting for that game. I bought it, and I mean, the Switch won't tell me yet how much I played, but the in-game counter is over 20 hours already. I think, like,
Really?
I come home, I turn it on, like, I'm at work.
He's only played the first area.
About wanting to take photos. Now, honestly, like, I won't spoil anything, but I think I'm nearing the end of the game. But it's like they said, the replayability is insane. Like, you have twice the amount of levels of the original game, but like, you go into a level. It's like Cluck had said, like once you get your score high enough, it upgrades to level 2 and level 3, meaning new Pokemon get added, old Pokemon have different things, new pathways can open up. Then you have like some levels have like night versions, so that gives you already like 5 different ways of playing the same level. Then some levels have like shortcuts that give completely different levels than what you have. Like, it's insane replayability. I can't stop playing it, and it's addicting to like keep snapping and shit. And like, like I said, it looks amazing, and the main thing I like about it compared to the original is the original. Like, I love the game, I played it to death, but in the original, it's like like you're looking on a reel and it goes to a level. There's a Pokemon there, you take a picture. There's a Pokemon there, you take a picture. You can do something here, but this game is like you're in the world. Like, Pokemon like fly over you, walk around you and shit. They fly around you, and like there's like areas hidden behind trees, and you go over shit, so you're looking down on stuff. Like, you really feel like you're more into it, and like graphically, like you said, it's insane. Not only do the levels look amazing, but like you said, use the character models. You can go really up close to a Pokemon, and normally in games when you do that, you start seeing like pixels, like you start seeing the shape of how they made it and shit. You don't have that in this game. Like, that's how good it looks. And it does all this crazy shit, like you said. Like, when you take a picture, I feel like you don't take a photo, but it does what Smash Brothers does in a replay, where they remember your button input. It's like it take a photo of the whole game, because how else can you take a photo and then later readjust the photo? Because I tested it, and you're basically looking in like all around you, like shit that was never in your camera. It's crazy
cool.
how in depth the game is, and like I can't stop playing it. Like. And one of the greatest things why I wanted it on the Wii U is that you have the gyro in the controllers. So you can actually snap your Joy-Cons in your Switch, and then you're looking at it like what I always hoped they would do. Like, there's something is flying, and you follow it, and you take a photo. Like,
I haven't done that yet. I didn't know you could do that.
And not only does it work really well, it looks, even in the handheld, like incredible. Like, so yeah, it's been sucking up my soul.
I like the star system on there as well, because that's you can essentially get a single Pokemon in 4 different states essentially, and you get ranked by a star. So maybe just their standard idle animation would be 1 star. And then after you throw an apple into their face and they're eating it, they do like a little happy smile. You catch a picture of them doing that, that'd be 2 stars. And then 3 stars, they might be doing something completely unique again, either running around or doing a special move.
Jumping.
So yeah, and it's just just for like even just for the Pikachu, you have to capture it 4 different times, work out what the 4 different states are, and then obviously still get really good pictures for each of those states and stuff. So you just think about the amount of Pokemon there are, and the variety of stuff. Like, it's just replay value wise, it's just what you want for a Pokemon Snap game. It's just it's just really good.
It's impressive. They even have side quests. Like I saw they have like requests. Hey,
I saw those.
I'm like, they really went all out on this one. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
So
I've seen people you could like see people like they got like people's photos, haven't they? That they've taken where they've added, to the photo themselves, they've added hats onto like their Pokemon and stuff like that, just to make these cool pictures. So that's like an online element where you can see other people's photos and stuff. And you can report some, because I think you could actually draw them and stuff as well. So it's almost like a mini Pokemon Snap Miiverse, which could go all types of wrong, But
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I was gonna ask a question, then I forgot what I was gonna ask. So I'll just I didn't finish any other games. I did accomplish a couple of my goals in Immortals, where I finally got all the armor visual customization option. I was searching for all the chests and stuff, and all the the bird companion. I got all those unlocked, so I'm pretty close to 100% in that game. Bummed that I don't know if it's a glitch because I started on PS4, but there's trophies retro. I didn't care that much about trophies, but it does bug me that I'm at like 76% on the PS4 version and like 20-something% on the PS5 version. It feels like if I got the trophy on the PS4 version, I can't get it in the PS5, so I can't 100%. If I wanted to, like, I was thinking about maybe platinum in that game trophy-wise, and I can't do it because it must be a glitch associated with starting it on PS4. So that was a little bit of a bummer, and it was kind of anticlimactic. I got all the gear, finally finished the last few challenges, and there wasn't even a trophy. It was just nothing happened, and I was like, oh, okay, But the game I started, obviously Resident Evil Village, even though my camera, I swear my camera isn't 1080p anymore. It looks like pretty trash. I don't know if it's just because your guys' look so good. I have the box art. I have a steelbook that came with it, the pre-order, because the box art is not just the white band around the top. It's just a trash generic ass box art front and back. It's really disappointing. But anyway, I started the game. I'd already played the demo, so it wasn't like completely new. But I am, I would say 3-4 hours in, and it's really solid. It's story-wise, it doesn't feel at all like Resident Evil. It is just the wackiest, out there, just crazy story. I don't know what Chris Redfield even has to do with anything so far, but gameplay-wise, it does feel, as Resident Evil as any other game, especially compared to 7 for me. It just feels like a Resident Evil game in first person. I feel like they're purposely trying to bring back the feelings of 4, because you even have a attack sequence in like the first area of the village that ends with some bells chiming, and then they go away. It's very similar. I think they're purposely trying to recapture that Resident Evil 4 feeling. So it's not completely unique or original in that section, but it did bring back some memories. So I'm really enjoying it. I gotta say though, the little bit of vertigo I've been dealing with, first person shooters not the genre to be playing when I'm having some slight dizziness. Today I had none, but for the most part I've been battling it here and there. It just pops up one day, and it was actually making me a little dizzy and nauseous. So that's why I started Days Gone instead last night, just because I needed a break. And
sucks.
It moves quite slow though, doesn't it?
It does, but there's so many, like, I'm one of those, like I said in my juice opinion, I like exploring and looking. So every room I'm looking at, every cupboard, like, do it crouch down? Will it trigger? Can I open this cabinet? Like, it's just.
Has the game got motion blur? You might want to turn that off.
No, it seems to be pretty sharp actually when you turn, and I have to kind of unfocused if I know I'm going to be turning a lot, but because there's like just like Resident Evil 4 too, there's little gems hidden. You see a little twinkle, and you shoot it and it drops. The one thing I will say, and I agree, I heard this, but on normal difficulty, like I have so much freaking ammo. I have like already my 3 main guns are already fully upgraded because everything you kill.
Retro's shaking his head already. Too much ammo.
Everything you kill, drops like crystal skulls that are worth like 2,000. That you take to the dude you go to.
Crystal skulls triggered me.
Yeah. So you kill these wing guys, you get a crystal wing, and it's like worth whatever the currency's called, like 1,500 a piece. And I had like 4 of them from one group of enemies, and I change it, and then I upgraded. One of the cool things though that I didn't hear one reviewer talk about. So when you pick up the first shotgun, you just grab it, you get it, and you hit the left trigger on the PS5 to like bring up the gun. It's like a shit ton of resistance. So it like takes a second or two for the gun to come up. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that. And then you go to shoot and you get about halfway and it like stops. And then it goes, and so my shots were missing. And I'm like, well, this is kind of trash. I might turn it off. Well, then you go into the shop and you get an upgraded trigger. And like, I think one of the guns had a grip. And then now the trigger feels way smoother, and the shooting actually is improved by upgrading your gun and actually improved in using the controller. So that's a really cool feature that I didn't hear one reviewer talk about.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And I was like, yeah, I was about to turn that shit off, and then I was like, oh, I can upgrade my gun, and then that goes away. So that's a clever use of.
You essentially got a trash shotgun, and that's represented in how you're essentially able to control it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds mental, but that could actually be quite
immersion. That shit.
I was like, yeah, man, I don't want to use this thing.
Unfortunately, the only way to experience that, I guess, is on PS5, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere else, you won't be able to experience that quite.
And I was like, I don't know what it would actually improve if you didn't have the adaptive triggers. What upgrading your trigger would actually do for you, like in the other versions of the game. I'm curious, because usually it's, you upgrade your gun and it has less recoil. Or I mean, this has that, but this was like actually physically using the controller was improved by upgrading your gun.
Maybe it doesn't say like recoil or something.
Well, there are things that get rid of recoil, but I'm saying the trigger itself, like.
But is that what the option says? Like it says removes.
Well, there's like a attachment for the end of the gun that helps with recoil, and that you don't feel that in the actual controller. So it's just cool.
Has it got like nice kind of like when you're pulling the trigger and you're out of ammo? Has it got like a nice feel to that?
I don't know. I haven't run out of ammo. But when your clip's reloading, you go to pull it, and it doesn't really. You don't have the feedback changes and then you press it. You feel a little thump, and then he reloads the gun automatically when you press the trigger. But I like.
That's like you took a little bit too much from Resident Evil 4.
I got like and I guess you play it. A lot of people are recommending playing it on hard, especially for the second playthrough if you're going to play it again, because I don't mind having the extra ammo because these guys are bobbing and weaving, and like I said, you got that weird trigger early on, and it's like I'm having trouble hitting, and I started to figure it out. I got better with my aiming and stuff, and the funny thing is it's the third game in a row that has somebody, well actually fourth because 7 had it, where somebody's chasing you that can't be killed. 7, it was the crazy dad in the family, and then in 2 remake it was X, and then in Mr. X, and then it was Nemesis, and now it's Lady D, Big Mommy as people are calling her. And it's funny because this is gonna sound like, obviously I've been influenced by other people's thoughts on her, but I'm like, I'm not scared of you because there is some attraction going on. Like, I'm not really that scared. I don't want to die and have to restart and do this over, but I'm not scared. I'm like
trying to take a peek.
Please chase me, So it's
all sitting there like, step on me, mommy.
I mean,
I'm waiting on
Yeah,
the
it's
Switch
like
version. So
like a seductive
Jeez.
huntress, but that's quite an interesting thing actually, because how often have you felt that way in a game where you're being chased essentially by a villain, but
can't think
you,
of
you
one
don't
though.
want to die, but at the same time you're like, man, I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all.
It's
Well, you
not.
killed me. I just tap it once.
She's 9'6".
I mean,
Just let me crawl around on you for a little bit.
even like from the trailers, that I've seen, she. I mean, I know that they're vampires. That's at least based off a trailer. But I mean, even the way she kills you, it seems like in a very seductive
Yeah, I should have.
type
I
of
was curious just
way.
to
So it's
let her kill me once. I didn't. She's not that hard to dodge. In the demo I died to the daughters they're not. I wouldn't call them vampires. You'll find, and Retro might not like this. You'll find documentation
no
of like the
spoilers, no
science
spoilers.
project of how they are, who they are.
No problem with reading in games. I have problem is reading as 50% of your game in
No,
an action
but
game.
if you didn't pick up the thing and take the time to read it, you would have no idea. Like it's not. It's completely optional.
It's not like
Reading's always been a thing in Resident Evil. I mean,
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
what I'm
most
saying.
famous things was the itchy, tasty fucking part of the reading.
So, yeah,
it's a big thing in the game. No, it should be.
Maybe it's mentioned later. I don't know, but it was you hear about people that were working in the mansion and somebody left like a diary. There's some cool stuff. But one of the is it lunonarrative dissidence? I think's the term when something in a game takes you out of the experience. Even though you're playing a game, you get sucked in and something happens that just like takes you out of it. And there's relating to injuries and how you
Yeah,
there's some healing, this magic chemical healing thing that's just like, right, why did you do that? If just you'll know when you play it.
I saw one clip. I haven't played it yet, but I saw one clip where like Ethan gets like his hand cut off or some shit.
Hey, come on now.
There's things
Well,
that's like,
it's a damn cutscene. It's one of those
but it was pretty shocking.
Oh, it's so
shocking.
cheap because the chasing thing isn't had in previous games. But that thing you're talking about now, and I didn't play it, I saw somebody play it. The exact same fucking thing happens in 7, and I see the person use this potion, and then the next scene is like, why? This makes no sense. Just write it differently then.
Yeah,
Don't
Yeah, it
make
does take,
fucking
like I
Mortal
said, it
Kombat.
takes me out of it
No.
because it has no impact when it's just like an easy fix right after something happens. It's like it's just gore. There's gory stuff, and then it's just almost immediately fixed. And it's like
Reversed or something.
it is what it is. But overall, I'm enjoying it. So we're gonna get to a couple questions. I do have a confession here. I don't prep this, but I gotta say, Retro Death, you're not gonna like this, but I gotta say, Days Gone, it's getting pretty damn good. It's getting pretty damn good. Story wise, I would tell somebody who was thinking of playing the game. I don't. You might disagree. I feel like the first 15 hours is like the beginning of Twilight Princess, the first couple hours of Twilight Princess. The game to me didn't even start until the third camp you get to. That's when the story, everything just started getting good. And for
15 hours?
for
Come
me,
on, man.
I'm sitting there doing a lot of, but I was doing a lot of extra stuff. Like I thought the whole game was the map's there, and I thought that was the whole area. So I'm clearing nests. I'm doing side quests. I'm helping people on the side of the road. I'm doing all this extra stuff, kind of avoiding the main mission because I was like, yeah, this seems like this is interesting stuff. And then I did a couple missions in a row, and it took me to the map doubled in size. You get to a third camp. I didn't know there was a third camp. I thought there was only going to be the 2. And all of a sudden, the side characters and the stories are just way more interesting. That's why last night I played for 4 hours because about 2 hours in, something major happened. I was like, holy shit, like, I need to see this through. Like, I'm not turning this off. 2 hours later.
Played the same thing the way you did as well. When in the beginning, I was doing so much shit. doing everything I can because I'm like it's probably gonna end soon, and like I just want to be in this world. But like that's how they set up the world, is like you said. And then when like you get to the second area, it's like holy fuck, I've been wasting time up there.
That's what I felt. I wasted probably at least 5. I probably more than 5 hours. So if somebody starts the game, I'd say forget the nest. Just go straight to the story missions until you get to the third camp, because there's so much. I turned in a lot of my, you get when you kill a zombie freak or whatever, you take their ears and then you go to a camp and you turn them in as bounties, and they give you some money and some towards your camp trust. And I did that for the second one because they had some good weapons, and then I had like nothing. Then I get to the third camp, and it's like, man, I want to build this trust up, but I had used a lot of my resources. But still, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative that it took me that much of playing it. But I'm glad I stuck with it, and I wouldn't have stuck. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Retro wasn't a huge fan of this game, I would have gave up on it probably after 5 to 10 hours. I guarantee you that. So
Makes sense though. I mean,
Jump
like
the gun on his
I don't know about jump the
evaluation
gun.
on a game.
15 hours in, I felt I had a pretty good idea.
That's
I was like,
never happened before.
I'm like, man, I feel like I don't know what else this game's gonna offer me. Like, I feel like I'm doing everything and nothing's that interesting. And then all of a sudden, it's like, holy shit. So
That sounds like the excuses people made for Final Fantasy 13. Where they're like, I swear, man, after the first 20 hours, it gets good. Like, yo, fuck it out. And the funny thing was, I got to 20 hours. The game finally opens up into this big world map. You're like, this is Final Fantasy 13. This is Final Fantasy. And I turned it off. And I never went back to it.
Done.
I was like, you broke me already. It's too fucking late.
yeah, I think it's just my nature of playing games and like trying to do everything. And because I didn't have resources, I'm like getting mad because I didn't have any fucking Molotovs. I can't burn these nests. I'm like, what the hell? And then I was just spent a lot of time doing stuff. I should have pushed forward a little bit quicker, I think.
Yeah, I think at that point sometimes you just gotta play the game, progress, sometimes.
Yeah.
So I get it, and
Usually with open world, I do like doing the extra stuff more than the actual game and quest. Like in Spider-Man, I had a blast finding all the backpacks and taking photos of the landmarks, and then but I did all that up front, so I didn't have anything to do towards the end.
Some of those games, though,
same here. That was with me.
They always expect you, to do too much of the junk. I mean, it's just like with like The Witcher 3 or the Assassin's Creed games, where it's just like, even in The Witcher 3, there's oh god, mind blank, the wretchedness. Anyway, there's monster nests and stuff that you can blow up in there.
Oh yeah.
And they're all over the place. And then sometimes like you will actually destroy like some monsters in the village, and then like villagers will come back and say, "Hey, you've reclaimed our village, thank you," and then you can buy items for them. And then after you've seen that the first 3 times and realize that same thing happens over and over again, you're like, I'm like, yo, fuck saving anyone else, man.
Yeah.
I ain't blowing up any more monsters.
I'll say once I have trust level 3 at the camps, I ain't doing any of that extra.
Well, that's the thing.
Shit.
It's good for leveling up and stuff. That's what it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right. Level up.
I took on 2 small hordes, the 50. I think there's 50. There are 50 zombies, whatever. And that you get a lot. You get like 1,000 towards camp trust, and I was like, wow. So that to me was that was probably the most. Last night was the most fun I had playing the game total. That's why I played it.
Not just the trust, but the hordes also get you like the ears and that kind of shit. Like, yeah.
Well, those hordes look great. That looks like a lot of fun. Like, I was Metro's video. He's doing this whole plan. It looks cool.
I went to the sawmill. I was flirting with some. I was seeing I could draw. I drew a bunch of them out, like way far away, to like a narrow bridge, and I probably killed 100 of them. And I was like, let me do that again. So I go to do it again, and the other 400 caught up to me before I could get to the bridge. And they killed me, so I lost all those bounties and stuff. And I tried it, so I just lured them by a big propane tank with a little noisemaker, and I only got 39, I think, with that one bullet though. So yeah, there's definitely it's definitely a slow burn for me, and it's like story wise, finally, because I didn't really like the two main, the main character and his brother. I actually thought it was his blood brother. I don't know why, because I played the beginning like in December and I'd forgot, but what's his name? Boozer. He's awesome. He's really awesome. I like him. But so yeah, it's coming around. We'll see how it ends up. There, since I just praised the game, I will say the one another thing that takes me out of the moment, just like with Resident Evil when you're healing these massive injuries. The one thing that takes me the most out is you'll have a lot of times they'll call you on a radio, which I think your bike has a radio. I guess that's how they're communicating, like a walkie-talkie.
Like a walkie-talkie kind of radio thing, yeah.
And a character will be talking to me while I'm riding, like, Baba, don't do this, don't do that. This last thing that happened was something major, like, don't go do something stupid. Talk to me in person before you do anything. Right after that conversation, I walked up to her NPC in the game, and she's just cleaning her bike. Nothing, nothing. And I'm like, it does a lot. Like that happens a lot where you'll talk to somebody over the walkie, and then you'll see them right after, and it's like that conversation didn't happen, and so it actually didn't. I had to go to a spot where start the mission, and then she came in and talked to me in person, even though I was just.
The other side, what the game does though, which I fucking love, is if you're riding the bike and you're talking with somebody on the radio, your character, if he reacts to it, he's like screaming because he's on the bike, he's riding. But if you get off the bike and you start walking, he talks normally.
Mm-hmm.
Like the conversation changes depending if you're riding or walking. Like I kind of like that detail.
Spider-Man does that as well. Yeah, there you go, Rob.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
But remember when he's swinging, he's like, and he's kind of out of breath, but then when he's walking normally, he's not like his voice acting. So they had to like record twice. Like
yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Pretty impressive. That's a cool little detail.
All right, so let's check. I seen a question from today. I know there's questions from a long time ago, but this one stood out to me because we didn't really talk about this. So, Miguel, Rose, have any of you watched footage of the Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Japan? What are your thoughts? So that's the first question. So anybody want to take that away?
I've watched a bit. I think it looks I thought it looked amazing. But all the stuff I saw wasn't really that much more than what we saw in the reveal and stuff. So I do feel like it's pretty small, and not even worth a trip there because it is so small.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one because I looked at that and I said
as much as I'd love to go there, I would need. I mean, if I went to Japan is literally the dream trip for me.
Oh yeah, Japan would be the reason to go there.
So you're going there to Japan and then you go to Nintendo Land for the day, but to just go there just for Nintendo Lands.
Oh yeah, I don't think I would ever do that though.
No, but
I just say, I mean, if we're talking about Nintendo Land here, so if you're gonna make the full-on effort to go there, it's a one-day done deal. I think
you say a day. Let's
say it's an over-the-top thing. Nintendo Land and Japan being an over I want to go to Japan. Now they got Nintendo Land. That pushes me over the top to go. Like I don't feel like it does that either.
Honestly, I feel like you walk around an hour tops. I would be out of things to be excited for or to do. It doesn't look like there's much to do. There's the one kind of interactive VR ride or whatever.
Only the one ride, isn't it? I think I saw.
And it's like
I think it's just about
the Yoshi ride.
It's like I honestly think I would be bored after probably not even an hour. I don't think I'd make it an hour before like.
Nah.
That's the problem I had with it when you heard talking for years or building like this fucking Nintendo park over there. That's how they say the Nintendo park and shit, and then you're excited for it, and then you see the food. I saw the original trailer, and you're like, okay, so you're walking in a circle. And there's like 5 things to see and shit. And it's like, okay, I want to be there. I want to see it. It makes me feel like you're there. But like, that shit is pretty small. Like I was expecting some rides more than that's there. Like the thing that I was actually most excited for is that stupid underground tunnel where you walk through in like 2 minutes probably and shit, and they do
Yeah.
that like forced perspective
It
thing
won't
where it
be
looks like
2
you're getting
minutes though.
smaller and shit. Like that looks like really good, but like I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't show everything, but like it's that, but like you're just walking through it, and I don't know, I was expecting more like I don't know, a Mario Kart fucking roller coaster, some shit like that, like stuff like that, or like an F-Zero roller coaster, or like, but it's like, it looks cute, but like, I feel just like fucking Star Fox Zero, where they're trying to focus on gimmicks. They wasted way too much time on that stupid watch that you have to hit shit. Like, I don't know, like, it's like you guys said, it doesn't push me over the edge or anything. Like, I want to see it, but even what T says, it's like, I
How
want to
did
go to
Star
Japan more
Fox
than
Zero
anything.
get dragged?
It doesn't like
I
push
know.
you like over the edge.
Little side jab there.
Poor Star Fox.
So I got the like a tour. It's a 3-minute video playing while we're talking. I mean, the stuff that's there looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It's like
The design and everything looks
Yeah.
immaculate. It looks
It looks great, like visually.
it looks
That's like-
absolutely fantastic.
I was just expecting like Epcot Center levels of like depth.
I mean, when you look at where the people are grouped together. That's a relative. I mean, yeah, you can look up at this hill and stuff, but you can't. It's not like you can go on that hill.
That looks like a
Yeah,
waste.
exactly.
That looks like all that time, all that space you wasted on that tunnel and shit. I'm like, you could have put something way cooler there. I think.
Roller coaster
so-
around that fucking mountain.
So what
And
I'll
all this
say,
damn walking. Have you ever been to, Universal? Is it Universal Studios? Have you ever been to one of these damn theme parks? It's enough goddamn walking just to get through the park. And you're gonna make me go to this walking area while I'm just walking around Nintendo? Nah, man. I need some cool ass rides. I need to be in a fucking what do you call it? A cloud and shit. I need to be in a. I need to be Lakitu up in this motherfucker.
I mean, this entrance to the Bowser, the Steel Bowser, that's cool. It's almost full size, but
that looks
Visually,
insane.
look at what the Harry Potter
Gorgeous and shit, but you ain't there for a whole day.
Diagon
No.
Alley and Harry Potter, like they recreated that. If they like, I know
But
it'd
even
be,
that, so I think
it's still
have
pretty
you ever
small,
been there?
but-
Have you ever been? Yeah, I was gonna say it's not huge either. I mean,
But
it's
you
not-
know,
it's-
for
it's
me,
actually probably
this
smaller
is
than that.
probably over ridiculous to expect, but you're talking $1 billion
Tiny.
of franchises. I'm sure that park's making billions. Like, imagine if they made even like half of Hogwarts, like to scale, like that you could go and you could stay, like make a hotel that's Hogwarts. You could stay in a room.
I
know,
love that.
That would be awesome. Like,
yeah.
imagine like Peach's Castle being like to scale. Like that's the big part, not just this little thing you climb on. It's like
It just looks like
So-
super play area. That's
this feels really geared towards kids to me. Like,
All right,
It is.
hold on
It
a
is
second.
really
So-
for kids. Because like even the Mario Kart ride in the
Yeah, I
in
thought it
Bowser
was
Play.
more than that. To be honest, I thought it was more.
I mean,
No, no,
that,
no, no.
I mean that legit should have been actual go karts.
should have been go kart. It should be a go kart area.
Go-karts.
Mario Kart.
Well,
That's
first
what
of
it should be.
all, I don't agree with any of this. This is
The watch, the watch.
Okay, give us your.
Let's hear it,
first of all,
Rob. Come on, Rob.
I travel alone to go to theme parks for whole entire days. I stay there from the beginning, second it opens to the second it closes, and even then they gotta kick me out. This is a thing where I don't give a shit. Fuck a kid, bro. The kids don't mean shit to me. I'm there fucking from the second it opens to the second it closes. No matter what it
You're
is.
that
You're gonna
And
just be
grown-ass
sitting there?
dude. He's that grown ass guy waiting on the new Harry Potter book, pushing little kids and shit out of the way.
hey man, listen. In the end of the day, I'm gonna remember it more than some fucking 5-year-old.
Yeah.
That's all that matters in my mind. And to me, it's like in the end of the day, like especially for this, in Florida, they're opening up a new park called Epic Universe, and they're having Super Nintendo World mixed with a bunch of other franchises. So we're probably gonna have some Fantastic Beast stuff. So it's gonna, when it comes to Florida, it's gonna be a whole new third park. So it's gonna be Islands of Adventures, Universal Studios,
gonna be a
and Epic
carbon
Universe.
It'll be
copy.
convenient for me. It's gonna be like a couple miles from me.
Yeah, and so that's why it's not only in Super Nintendo World. It's gonna be that stuff, but it's
Yeah, if
also
this was
including the whole
one of
Well,
many
hold on,
attractions, that'd
but
be one
it's
thing.
more, but it's more stuff because it's also gonna have the Donkey Kong Land, kind of thing where it's gonna have a minecart ride, like a roller coaster, like a thing that you guys talk.
Yeah,
You
so
want
that'd be awesome. Yeah.
But that
It's gonna
line
have-
for that, I mean, if that's the one.
Confirmed shit.
So what
that's
did
confirmed
8
shit,
hours
dude. That's
long.
confirmed shit.
because
And
it says
that's gonna
there's
have-
a rumor of expansion Donkey Kong and Zelda and Pokemon. I mean, if it
well,
was
no, but
one of
mainly it's
many
the Donkey Kong
attractions.
thing where
What?
where it's gonna have a Donkey Kong, and it's gonna have it's supposed to be like a minecart ride essentially, and dude, what,
needs to
dude,
be
that alone, like, it
Nintendo
doesn't
Land.
matter, like, I'm there.
So let me
Like,
ask you
okay.
this.
I think essentially what we would class as a Nintendo Land is what you saw there, and then when you went into the Bowser's place, that opened up into a similar sized area behind it, and then when you went over to the Piranha Plant area and the tunnel, underground tunnel, that opened up into a similar sized area on that side. So if you had these three giant kingdoms essentially, you know, the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, and then whatever other kingdom over there, the Underground Kingdom and stuff like that. Then you've got a whole day. But I feel like even like with our excitement being there and we're smashing our watches against those power blocks to get our key, because you got to find the 5 keys. That's all you have to do. You go bing,
So your
Come
big
on,
ass gonna be
son,
doing
man.
that by yourself?
and then it's no,
And
it's not,
I'm not
no,
no,
no, no, no, no.
I'm not no
not
insecure
embarrassing.
vagina, bro. I don't care. Like,
What are you gonna
I
do?
that all the time. I don't give a shit.
It's
It
not
don't
about
matter
being
to me.
embarrassed. It's just the content that's there to keep you going
Yeah,
for
that's
that
what I'm-
whole
That's what I
day.
Yeah,
was
for a
gonna
whole
say,
day,
yeah,
that's
like-
what I'm
But
wondering.
in my mind, and,
But,
and
like-
and I think it's factual. Like, in the end of the day, kids will not appreciate just those details. Like, we're gonna look how beautiful it is, and kids are gonna look at it and be like, you know, that's all they're gonna do. And at the end of the day, they're gonna forget about it a week
Let
later.
me ask you this,
Yeah,
Robert, because specifically for
Never
you,
mind.
let me ask you this, because like I think you think it's bigger than it is. I think once you're there, it's like you said, yeah, you hit the block, and then
There's
there's
one
another
block.
block there. I think it's small, but if it's as small as we think it is, or even maybe as big as you think it is, like, you know how you play a game, you run through it, you don't look at shit. You're telling me you're gonna spend like an hour looking at that one block you hit with your watch?
Bro,
You're not
like,
gonna-
legit.
They're gonna call
I-
security on your ass.
I ride. Bro, I ride. They always have in a lot of these rides. They have single rider lines. Bro, I go on lines. I go on rides fucking 7
Yeah,
times in a row.
but
Just
you're
go
acting
around.
like
Gator
this
freaks
has.
staring
We're
at the
talking
clock.
about Nintendo of Japan as it is right now. You're thinking you'd spend a
Like,
whole
as
day
it
there.
already, well, what's good about that? I would go just for the simple fact that it's not only Nintendo World. There's other shit that in Universal Japan that's exclusive to that area.
Yeah,
that I
but
wanna
we're
go
talking
to.
about specifically
saying?
Nintendo.
We're
Yeah,
just
we're talking
talking about
Nintendo World here.
Nintendo World, yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know, but no one's going to just one single ride. Which, actually, to be fair, I did want to go to Disney the other last year, but then pandemic closed. I was gonna go just for one ride. I was
But
gonna
they
go
don't
for
have-
just the Rise
yeah.
of Resistance.
I thought the
And-
Mario Kart thing was more involved. That was the first time I really seen what it actually was. I thought it was like a VR thing, and it's just like in front of a screen, and your thing shifts. Like,
No, it's AR, so like it's
Oh, it's
gonna have
AR?
it where you can. Yeah, so you wear the helmet, and so like on it, you'll see like things like.
okay, so it's
It's gonna be
more.
fucking badass, man. It's gonna be fucking awesome,
Still,
and I can't
I
wait.
want to see
God
that
damn it.
shit. And like, I agree with you, Robert. Like, kitty shit, whatever. I don't care. I will have fun there. I want to be there. Experience this shit. Do the watch. I don't care. I can be a kid. That is not a problem for me.
Well, I don't.
It's just
I just.
that I was expecting it to be bigger, and like what we said with T. Mario Kart being fucking Mario Kart, be it like karting or like a roller coaster thing. Just like It's just there's like the AR thing, which is their ride, and the Yoshi thing. Those are the rides. That's what it is, and the rest is like.
I get you. No, I get you.
Kind of.
For me, it feels like you're gonna be like Clark Griswold. Like, you're really excited, and you're gonna get there, and it's gonna be super disappointing. It's like when I took my brothers to North Carolina and South Carolina. On the border, there's a place called South of the Border, and it's kind of Mexican themed or whatever. And it's like, I remember it just being this beautiful, like, crazy lit up theme park, and like every mile there was like a what do you call them, like a bullet, or not a bulletin board, what do you call those boards? The
Bulletin?
No,
You said both? No, you said
no,
not a
like
bulletin.
it's,
the
Not a bulletin.
advertisement board you're
the
talking
big
about.
board, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, a
like every
billboard,
mile
like a
mark.
billboard, like a
It's like it
billboard.
was animatronic and shit. It was like the pointing here, you're almost there, and it was I just remember it being awesome when I was 13. Took my brother there maybe 4 or 5 years ago, And man, it was trash. It was run down. Like half the animatronics didn't work anymore. It was just like they just were frozen.
Yep.
It looked like crap.
But
And
what
I
I'll
feel
say
like
is
you're geeking yourself up. You're gonna get there, and it's gonna
I
be
don't think you guys
National
understand how
Lampoon's
obsessed with
Vacation
theme
and
parks I
shit.
am. Like I don't think you guys understand how obsessed with theme parks I am. I absolutely
I get you.
love
I
theme
get
parks.
you. I used
I
to be
go,
that
dude.
way.
I
But
legit. I went to by myself like 2 years ago. I went and I went to 4 days to each of the Disney parks, and I stayed from it open, from it closed to each of the Disney parks, no matter how long. And same thing at night. I went. They had the horror thing. I went from the second it opened to the second it closed for Universal. I went just straight to there, and it was just me, so I get to get things done quick, but I rerode rides. I went on fucking anything, bro. And my thing is just, I know I was like, oh well, it's a family event. The kids are gonna love it. I just feel like kids don't remember shit, and it's the most
I
pointless
remember
thing for a
standing in
lot of kids.
line, sweating their ass off. That's what I remember.
You might remember one or
Especially
two
well,
things.
and that's my thing is that I just kind of like, yeah, I mean, yeah, kids can go, but I don't. I went when I was young, like real young, but like I don't remember that at all. You know what I'm saying? But I remember the one I went just recently. You know what I'm saying? That
I
was
never went.
memorable.
I've never been to one.
Well, I went to Disney when I
No,
was like,
You
I
ever
I have
been
to
to a
agree
theme park?
with though.
Mm-mm.
Like, I went
What
to
the fuck?
Disney when I
I
was
said we
like
gotta all go,
six.
yo. The juice is loose. Going to,
We gotta
going to
do it.
Universal.
Like, I went to
Let's do
Disney
it.
when I was like 6 or 7, and I have photos from me. I have photos in my photo album of me being in the park, And the only thing I remember is that like my younger brother got like a giant Pumbaa plush, and I got like a Timon plush. And we had those for years. But like I look at those photos, and I'm like, did I really walk there? I don't remember actually being there.
Just like the Detroit Zoo, we family went to a trip. Detroit's only a 3-hour drive. It's probably 4 hours back then. Speed limit's a lot faster now, but I remember seeing pictures of it, but I don't remember being there. But anyway,
Like,
let's get on.
why bring people that aren't even gonna remember the damn thing? It just doesn't make
Nah,
sense.
see, it's not like even as a parent now, our kids don't remember half our holidays, but
Exactly.
It's still fun.
no, wait, it's not the point.
I
The
remember.
point in life sometimes is to live in that moment, and I might remember it and say, and look back to it fondly, and just remember that day when it was smiling and having a fun that day. That's sometimes that's all that's important is
For
literally
sure, I
in that
get it.
moment. But what I can also understand is I can imagine like how Retro reacted to when he met you at the Nintendo store, and you go there, it's like, man, I mean, this Nintendo store is amazing, but I thought it was bigger. And then when you've had a little look around, you're like, yeah, I'm done now. Cool,
Yeah.
it's cool,
Mhm.
but I'm done now. It's
Yeah.
this, because it just wasn't quite enough.
Honestly, I think
So,
Nintendo's E3 booth, what they were doing the last few years, that would be more exciting to be in than the
I thought you
Nintendo
were gonna
World.
say better than Nintendo.
Like, they did the
That's
Breath of the
like,
Wild theme, and then they did
that looked amazing.
did they do an Animal Crossing?
They did the Mario Odyssey, dude. The Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey.
That's where I was at. The Mario Odyssey was insane.
Yeah, that
they had
shit
a whole
was
day
cool.
night. They had a whole day and night cycle at this thing.
Yeah,
It made no
that
sense. I was
looks
like, holy
cool to
shit.
me. But anyway, let's get to check another couple questions here. Saw one earlier. Dave97, will Doom Eternal be the last Bethesda game to be released on a Nintendo platform due to Microsoft's acquisition? I don't think that'll be the reason. But he said Nintendo platform. He didn't say Switch. So
Ever again? Nah, come on.
I think
It'll be something.
I don't think
They've
Microsoft.
released everything so far on it, but like I'm gonna say, like I doubt the Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna fucking run on the Switch.
But am I running the
don't- I
next? Dude,
don't
come on.
see-
Elder Scrolls 6. It's not gonna be releasing anytime soon.
I don't see
You never know.
any major physical game, Bethesda-made game in the future coming to any other platform. If they want it on, if it's going to come to any other platform, you'd have to play it on Game Pass or xCloud or something like that. You'll need to sign up to Microsoft somehow in order to
think?
play these games on other platforms. I reckon.
I don't
I
know,
reckon.
man.
Like
I don't see any.
not even Steam and shit. You think they will not release the Elder Scrolls on Steam? I don't see that, man.
No, but even on Steam, then They're probably getting to log into Xbox somehow.
Oh, so I gotta buy an Xbox, log into Xbox, so I can play it on Steam.
No, you
No,
probably
no,
just
that's
sign up
only-
for Xbox.
No,
you can
you
sign
just,
up.
just like how you love how you have to sign into UPlay. You know, in order
Man,
to, in
fuck
order
all
to-
that shit, man.
I'm
Like,
sure
what?
that's gonna happen. But I'd be shocked if there's not games coming. I mean, they'll have. I think they'll have some exclusive. They'll make the decision. Hey, this game we're gonna keep exclusive to our platform. But it'd just be a missed opportunity, and especially we don't know what the how these new systems are gonna sell. Let's say that just theoretically, if the PS5 does on pace doing what the PS4 does. Let's say in a couple years, 3-4 years, it's at 60, 70, 80 million. I don't know if they'd say, we're not going to put Doom 3 in a couple years on the PS4. I don't know. It's going to be, for them, it's going to probably be a tough decision based on trying to recoup some money.
I mean, just think about it. Could you imagine Microsoft paying Panic Button to do the next Doom on the Super Nintendo Switch and to do a physical copy onto a
That's a
cartridge?
good
So
point.
Microsoft doing all that money just to get another Doom game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they'll just...
Especially these days, we've got like Ori and we're getting like exclusive like Ori and Cuphead on the Switch. Like I don't see them locking
we're
shit.
talking Ori here compared to fucking Doom now.
Yeah, Ori, which was literally the one exclusive most of us would have bought an Xbox for because it was exclusive and that kind of shit. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that coming to Switch.
We're talking.
Yeah, I don't know about most
Bethesda
people
games
are gonna
here.
buy it for Ori. Like, I don't know.
We're talking about Bethesda games here now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
No,
I don't really know how...
Not Fantastic Mr. Fox or whatever they fucking put on there.
If I had to make a guess, I don't think the Switch is getting any future third-party multi-plats from this point on, and just because
Grim shit.
I feel like Immortals was really the last one we'll see, and that was really struggling on the Switch.
But what about a Switch Pro? You think they'll?
Well, I don't know about a Pro because it's still have to work on the base model Switch. Otherwise, it'd have to be a sequel. So
it'll get some smaller games, and stuff. But I think with the big hitters and stuff, they're going to want you to be part of that ecosystem, and that's gonna relate to Game Pass. It's gonna relate to Game xCloud and stuff, and they're just like I said. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't want
we
Microsoft.
got other issues. We got other issues. You know how much fucking Sony has issues with Microsoft and all this stuff. I mean, who's paying who to have this game on this platform and stuff like that? Like it's just a fucking mess. I just don't see it.
I don't want Microsoft ever hearing this shit. But like if the Elder Scrolls 6 is exclusive to an Xbox thing, like and you got to make an account, then I guess I got to make an account because I'm not playing that shit.
And then he's gonna play 200 hours and not even start the first mission.
They'll honor that. They'll honor the PC crowd. They'll honor the PC crowd. That's Bethesda through and through, and it's Microsoft through and through. They'll honor the PC crowd and stuff. But when it comes to other platforms, I think it just gets more and more difficult, and Microsoft will just want to see that easy software money.
Yeah, well, I think
Microsoft money. Yeah, go on.
I think they're really hoping they probably have a number of Game Pass subscriptions in mind at not just a trial price, but $15 a month. Like let's say, whatever let's say they're hoping to hit 40 million subscribers, times $15 a month. What is that, like $600 million every month or something like that?
Some high number.
I think that's what they're. I mean, that if you're making $600 million per month, you can recoup those billions spent like pretty quick. I don't know if they have a number or what their plan is, but otherwise, if their goal isn't just to get as many Game Pass subscriptions and trying to hit that Netflix number like 100 million or some crazy thing, then the $6 billion wasn't worth it just to try to sell copies physically. Like they'll never make that $6 billion up. So
at least recently as well, we got an indication of how much money some of these guys are spending to get these exclusive
Like
games now on
Epic.
their service. Like we saw with Epic in court now, they had paid this one dev for this small indie game like £40,000 just to have that game free for that month or whatever. Other games were
Oh, really?
way way much more, in hundreds of thousands,
Well, they
and
paid
sometimes
100
millions.
million for Borderlands 3
Yeah.
exclusivity.
Yeah,
100 million.
just
Yeah.
100 fucking million. That's money that they pay out with. So when it comes to Game Pass,
Borderlands 3 exclusivity.
you know this money is floating around. And like I said, when it comes to other type of money, then especially on the platforms that we're dealing with, especially Nintendo platforms, come on, man, it's just I don't think it's worth the effort for them
Unless
to
they
go
thought,
to go above and beyond.
unless they thought it was going to sell 10 million copies, if
Yeah,
or
to
20
go
million, like
above
a,
Excuse me?
and beyond.
Well, yeah,
So-
I think that's the big thing is that Microsoft, like you said, they're just trying to get Game Pass subscribers because like their goal. I remember they're talking about they want to get like xCloud on like every TV, every smart TV. So eventually you'll have it where, imagine you're not tied to you're against you kind of like a Stadia stuff. So you're not tied to a box, and eventually you could just be a part of Microsoft's Xbox on a TV, and then now you're open into so many people, not without having to have a access to for a
yeah,
box.
I wouldn't mind paying $15 a month for really, like, to access to all those games they're getting, especially once the new
Fucking
ones
would.
start coming out. If the streaming was better than Stadia, because Stadia was garbage on Chrome. I heard
Isn't Stadia dead already?
it's pretty much dead. It's
Getting
dead.
close.
People are
Most of them,
leaving.
They've closed all their studios.
Yeah.
People are leaving.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Crazy.
I'm talking about in the future, like with that many, if they have like just top tier AAA games, a ton of games from every genre and stuff, and you don't have to pay for it forever. Like, but at the same time, you know those games you'll play that it'll keep your save progress on the cloud. You could buy it physically and continue your progress, but at the same time, it's going to be the death of owning games if that becomes like the new Netflix.
It will be, yeah. Well, I think the whole thing is they're playing the long game, and I really truly believe they're gonna succeed in this one, man. I think they're gonna Sony and Nintendo, they're playing, they're doing what they do, they're just traditional console, market, but
Not
Microsoft's
really.
thinking the future.
Sony's doing some things digitally that
Oh.
they're trying to move to more digital
Well,
stuff.
yeah, but more so like it's still like you purchase a game and you got the game stuff type thing. While Microsoft, you could tell they're they're thinking of the future, but they're like, all right, well, we know this is not gonna be around forever. We want to get people to game
It's almost
on
like
type thing.
anybody that followed the music industry. And funny enough, probably the best documentary I seen on this was Jared Leto and his band 30 Seconds to Mars. He did a documentary. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if he directed it, but he's a pretty big star. His band's relatively, they're not huge or anything, but they were trying to get a record deal in like late, I don't know if it was early or mid 2000s. He wasn't the Jared Leto he is today back then, but he was still a pretty big actor. Well, you found out through this documentary that the record studios were not prepared for iTunes. And so record labels, instead of like, all right, we'll give you a $100,000 advance. We'll make out of every CD sold, you'll make $2-3. We'll make $7. And then when you tour, you can make 100% of the profit. Well, because they were losing all this money to iTunes because they were not ready, they started signing artists and they were getting 50% of their tour revenue on top of, and so the band was making like $1 per CD back when CDs were still sold, and then giving up half their freaking money from touring, and he was fighting for it, and he basically said these record labels weren't ready. None of them thought iTunes was a threat, digital MP3s and all that, and Apple comes in out of nowhere and now is the biggest seller of music, and they were a computer company, and no one saw that coming. None of the big record labels saw that coming, so they all got screwed. Bands got screwed, and it's like how do people make money? So bands started basically just like what Robert did. They make an album and then they try to promote it themselves, and like try to, you take the risk. But I kind of think Game Pass could be potentially they could be seeing a similar situation where they want to be there first, but you could say argue Steam was there first and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's a scary thought to think about. But it's happening with movies. I was at Best Buy when I sold my PS4 Pro. I was in Grand Rapids, so let me check out Best Buy. It was right there, and I go, I'll just look through the movies. I used to go to Best Buy and spend an hour going up and down the aisles, looking at all the movies alphabetically. Took me 10 minutes. I'm not shitting you. I couldn't find the movies. I thought they were gone. I finally went back by like the old car audio little corner, and there's one rack with two sides. I mean, there's probably less than 200 different movies, and this is a big store in a bigger city. And it just crushed me because I used to just love browsing movies, and now it's like they have one freaking rack with two sides, and that's where physical media is. And I think gaming heading that way. I think the gaming sections are going to get smaller and smaller over the next couple of years. They're already quite a bit smaller than they used to be, and it is kind of scary. But
well, I think who's going to take advantage of that is Nintendo, though, because I think they're going to refuse as long as they can to go where they're going to have most of the section.
Even Nintendo, like
Switch does a lot of business digitally. More than
but they do a lot of business physical.
Many games as they have though.
The chart just physical. You remember that? I mean,
my store finally has a fucking Nintendo section again. When the Wii U was dying, like Nintendo didn't even have a fucking shelf anymore and shit. Then the Switch came, and now Nintendo has a giant fucking wall again. Like,
they didn't have a shelf when the Wii U was alive.
Yeah, that was
in
true.
The back corner. I remember Nintendo right up front on all the game stores, and then when Wii U came, that bitch was in the back corner. Like literally in a corner. Like damn.
Walmart's actually probably has the most robust. I think Walmart has the most robust of. It's more condensed, but when I go there, the variety of Nintendo Switch games, PS4, PS5, Xbox games it's better than Best Buy, and it's like
it looks real good there.
Best Buy, I think.
Not only that, peripherals too, like headsets.
Oh yeah, they got all kinds of stuff. It's like, I know you guys are in Europe. I don't know what your equivalent to like a Best Buy would be, but I feel like every year the cell phone section takes more and more in tablets. I don't know if tablets are still a thing. I was thinking that earlier. I don't know if that trend's dying. I don't really hear anybody talk about tablets anymore.
We've lost so many high street electronic stores. It's unreal. Most of our video games now are either in game. You got GameStop. We got Game, and they took over everyone. They took over the electronics boutique. They took over Game Station, bought them out, closed them down, just completely cornered the market. And even then, they were going out of business themselves recently and just managed to claw it back. But we used to have like places like Woolworths and stuff like that. But now you just go to the main.
Yeah, you guys had Woolworths.
Yeah. Nice. Now you just go to mostly to the main supermarkets if you want to buy physical stuff. So our main supermarket chains are like Asda's and Tesco and stuff like that. But that's kind of where you go now to get physical games for the most part.
There was one store over here where I used to go to buy physical games. And back in the day, at one point, they had Chibi Robo for $15. I was like, I'll pick it up later, And they had like a cool section like in the back, Nintendo 64 games, GameCube games and shit, and like a pillar with like retro games in there and shit. And like over the years, every time I came there, all of a sudden they had like a wall, like a small wall with like cell phone stuff. I'm like, that's weird. What's it doing in my fucking game store? And then like a year later, there were two walls, and then all of a sudden there were no GameCube games anymore. And now that whole store is like a fucking phone store. There's not a single goddamn Game Boy game left in there. It's all phones.
Yeah. Wow, they got to survive. I mean,
that's a big market. I will say TVs is probably the second biggest section in Best Buy, because you can't. You need a place to see them displayed, and they have a whole like the one I was at. They had like 85-inch 8K Samsung on the wall. It was just like, and then they had a bunch. Just it was impressive. Like still need a lot of people. They go to a store and they walk around and look at TVs. Like you kind of need that. Video games. Most people are buying shit on Amazon. You know,
Yeah.
they want to. I just re-upped my Prime membership because I wanted to rewatch The Expanse and then check out some other stuff. And I was immediately jumping on just seeing what's what can I get on Prime tomorrow? What if I want to buy something? It was like Friday or Saturday. Is there any movies or anything I could buy and have tomorrow? Like, I wouldn't. I'll check Best Buy if in that situation, but they don't have a lot of shit. So
Amazon is ruining the country.
it
It's ruining
is. I like
For me, I
like the
actually
streaming
purchase
service.
on Best Buy a lot.
I do
usually
too.
I usually purchase all my Blu-rays and games through Best Buy, and then I'll either pick it up or have them delivered. You know,
I
and
get off
it's-
my ass, and go.
Well, I wanted to watch
Well, I'll
Willow.
go, but I'll go. What's funny is I'll go, but I'll have it where it's pickup, so I sit in my car, and then they take it out for me.
See, I like going in and just browsing.
We're waiting for Wally type of shit now.
It's ever since COVID started, they did that, and I'm like, hey, this is great. All right, hey, I'll
This is
chill for
making
2
us
minutes while
lazy
they
as
take
hell.
out the thing. It's actually honestly my way of thinking. I would love if I was working there. I would want to be that guy because you get to go outside. You get to all right, cool, yeah, all right. I don't know if they feel the same, but I would feel that.
I'm sure they don't.
All right, let's
That
One
does
of
it
my-
way
one of my
better.
favorite
Way better
places
than
was,
You remember how it is
indoors.
going outside on them hot ass days to get them carts and
or
shit.
cold as shit.
Sweating your ass off.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, well, again, I used to, I was the car guy. I rather be out there than
You're
indoors.
different. I'm different. But most people that I work with hated that shit.
Yeah, yeah. Most people were like, they're like, no, I don't want to be outside.
I don't wanna go
Yeah,
outside. You gonna get them carts? I don't want to get them damn. You out there.
Walmart doesn't like getting carts. Clocker, you were gonna say something?
No, I was just saying. Another place was obviously Toys R Us until that went
Oh
down.
yeah.
Toys.
I bought my
Are they coming
everything.
back, though? I heard they were coming back.
apparently, I don't know.
So?
What it,
Yeah,
they get
I heard
that
Toys
together.
R Us is coming back.
Yeah, something like that.
I think I bought every N. Oh no, I didn't buy every N60. I bought my N64 there, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Star Fox, GoldenEye, but I did buy Perfect Dark at Myers at a supermarket. I'll never forget that.
My mum got my Sega Saturn
Well,
from
apparently you
Toys R Us.
forgot it because you didn't know how much that shit cost, did you, bro?
I know I don't remember the breakdown. I know it was over 100 with the RAM expansion. But
Well, that shit was like $30 back then. So
it's
back then.
I googled it and it said it launched at $49.99. The RAM expansion. I was like, I thought it was
RAM
40.
expansion?
I thought it was 40.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I was gonna say 40 tops. I remember like
30
30
or 40.
I don't. Yeah,
Either way,
I got mine with Donkey Kong bundle, so I don't know.
In my head, I got $29.99, which would be about $40 for you guys.
So I bought
It's like
now it's probably way up
$80,
there.
$90 to get one of them bitches now.
N64 was all Toys R Us. Then GameCube, I kind of switched to, I don't know if it was GameStop or Electronics Boutique at the time, EB Games. And then the Wii that's when I kind of switched to Best Buy.
No software, etc. I used to go to software, etc.
I think there's one in the old mall, but all right, let's check the next question. I'll just kind of go with somebody. Rocky, yeah. Here's a question I saw floating around on the forum the other day. Which post NES / Game Boy console introduced the best new Nintendo franchises? Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
That could have been a podcast by itself.
What was that?
Which system after the NES Game Boy generation introduced the best new Nintendo franchises?
Ooh.
Basically, from the SNES onwards.
Yeah. So,
Ooh.
That's I'd say that's easy
Mario
for me.
Kart?
Yeah. I'd say that's
Mario
pretty
Kart's a good one.
I
it
have
the
to
biggest
say
one?
GameCube with Animal Crossing, probably.
easy. Get out of here with them.
Hey, man,
That's
it's my
easy.
favorite, yo.
You
It's my
would-
favorite.
You weren't.
N64
You were-
with GameCube or what the
You were. You
Oh,
were
okay, I know what you're
Stardust.
saying. Yeah. So technically Japan. If you're in Japan, N64 with GameCube.
Dude,
I mean, wait, what?
when-
I mean, N64 with
when-
Animal Crossing.
when Super Mario
I was
Kart
saying the
first
same
came
thing.
out, when Super
Oh,
Mario
yeah.
Kart first came out, right? That game, fucking, just
Which
like
game?
that game was just
Mario
Super
Kart.
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart. Oh God.
It's just next level, man.
What was
Absolute next level.
Yeah,
I was
Super
addicted
Nintendo.
to Super Mario Kart. Addicted.
because
Yeah.
the N64 had a lot of
Okay.
like great iterations in this franchise, but I'm trying
Evolution of those.
to think of like.
Well, you got
like
Mario
Smash
Tennis.
Brothers,
Oh,
N64 was Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
Smash.
Smash.
Because
Don't forget-
Smash and Mario Kart, yeah, that is tough. That is real tough.
That's-
I was about to say Wave Race, but that came on the Game Boy.
who do you pick? I still go with Mario Kart, but
Because Mario Kart, I mean, damn man, you could play that any day though. It's like, damn, I don't know.
with anybody.
And any honestly any entry too. Like you could
Yeah.
honestly play any of them, and you're just like fantastic.
Takes some
That's
adjusting.
tough.
You got to adjust to each game's.
But that's what's good about it. You
Turning.
play-
But that's
You
like
know.
everybody's go-to. I mean, look at Mario Kart 8. I mean, Deluxe. That's everybody's fucking go-to game. Anybody can play it, no matter what skill level. You know. So
Well, if you noticed, remember we're like, all right, well that means Animal Crossing is for sure gonna outsell it pretty soon. But it
But-
looks like that Mario Kart's still
It's still staying ahead.
Actually sold a bit higher.
If Terrell was here, he could tell us the sales numbers, but
It sold a bit higher than Animal Crossing.
Well, Animal
I need
Crossing-
Animal Crossing to overtake that shit.
Animal Crossing sold
Please.
20 million. Mario Kart 8 sold 10 million in that year. So if I would unless Animal Crossing really slows down, I'd say it's got to.
I don't think it will. It's an evergreen.
I don't know, man. I think there's a good chance to just Mario
But
Kart.
everybody will have it at some point, and then it won't be selling anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's-
let's stop for a second though. Let's think of each console generation.
Yeah.
So Super
Well,
NES, we had Super Mario
NES
Kart,
introduced some
but what
good
else? You know, we got Star Fox the first time,
Hero, we-
Well, the country
F-Zero, Donkey Kong Country.
series.
I would say F-Zero, but Nintendo literally killed it the gen after that, so...
Poor F-Zero. Just play my violin right now.
Zero games in the last 15 years.
80.
Star Fox.
we can
Yeah,
certainly
so,
include
yeah.
country, like you said.
So what do you think of N64? What's we had
Well,
Smash
can
Bros.
you consider the 3D Mario series kind of like its own thing?
No, I
Is
still
it-
kind of count those. With
I would give it
Mario.
I'd give it a half point. You know, that's a half.
Because in that case, I may have to just give it to that. It's too good.
You could
but
technically include
yeah,
Mario
N64 only introduced
and Mario Tennis.
Smash.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Smash is
NES
amazing.
had a
That's
tennis, but not officially Mario.
Oh no, it's sports titles, tennis and golf,
Yeah, the actual start of the Mario Golf and the Mario, Tennis.
Party. That was huge.
Mario Party, yeah.
Said
Yeah,
Mario
Mario
Party.
Party.
I'm like, what am I thinking here? N64 is my favorite console, but I can't remember none of the games.
But
on
then
it.
again, Animal Crossing, yeah, Animal Crossing right there.
1080
Yeah, Animal
snowboarding.
Crossing gets a half point.
What do you have to
Luigi's
say?
Mansion. Did we say that?
That's GameCube, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
I thought
wasn't
we were
on
up to
N64.
GameCube.
Oh, we're up to GameCube now. My bad.
I thought you jumped to game. I heard. I was thinking 1080, the sequel. I don't know why.
The original, man, the original.
I had that game. I have no idea what happened to it. I had 1080
No, the
snowboarding,
sequel is better. It
and
is
it's
better.
gone.
On the N64.
Well, you can say Banjo.
Well,
I
that's
guess new
not
Nintendo,
Nintendo.
franchise. Yes, the Nintendo itself,
Yeah.
only Nintendo.
So what the GameCube introduced?
Diddy
Pikmin,
Kong Racing. Oh.
We-
Wii
we got-
Sports.
We got two Diddy
Chibi
Kongs. We got
Robo.
one on DS, right?
Chibi Robo, yo.
Chibi was N64 though.
He was N64.
And only
What, in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I actually don't even remember.
Chibi Robo. Oh no, Chibi Robo. What am I thinking?
That was
Oh,
GameCube.
I'm thinking of
Wasn't it Custom Robo?
Sorry.
Custom Robo,
Yeah,
yeah.
alright.
Well, there's another one, Custom Robo.
Yeah, Chibi Robo is GameCube. My bad.
Then for GameCube, you
hello?
got Battalion Wars.
Pokemon Snap, bitch.
Oh, Pokemon Snap. Advance Wars, I guess. Or Fire Emblem.
yeah.
You didn't say Fire Emblem at all.
That was on NES.
Oh, no, that was
though.
NES.
That was
NES.
NES though.
Yeah, that was all NES.
What
yeah,
about
Fire
like
Emblem.
DS?
DS?
What?
Yeah.
Golden
That's a
Sun?
latent bitch.
So we
on
had,
all that shit.
Trauma Center.
You had the Brain Age.
Is
So
that-
I'd say
is that- wait, was that Nintendo Trauma Center?
I don't
I didn't
know.
know that.
Yeah,
No.
it was Nintendo. No. It's
No, somebody else
Atlas.
developed
Atlas developed. It's Nintendo published. Nintendo owns the IP, but
Dinosaur Planet.
So, I mean,
Nice.
that's their game. So
So yeah, I would probably give it to the Super NES just because they were still coming up with a lot of new.
another code.
Well, I don't think
Yeah,
it was
you guys
asking
call
which
that.
ones of-
You guys
it was
call it
asking you-
double memories
Yeah,
and
it
shit
was
like that.
asking you
No,
which,
it's like Switch something Switch.
Oh, what console introduced? Oh, it's only just a console? Jeez,
Yeah, that's why we're trying to just. That's
I
why
thought we
we're.
were naming one franchise.
No, that's
Maybe
why I was
one
trying to come up with as many.
Oh, okay. Well,
Trace
then
memory.
in that case, I'd have. Oh shit, that's tough. It probably have to be the Super Nintendo because it started so many.
That's a good question, though. Good question. All right,
That's a great
Dave97. I think I already asked one of his, but what's your thoughts on? We didn't talk about the 3DS turning 10 years old. What was your favorite game for the system? His was Kid Icarus. That's a tough. I think A
stuck
Link
on that
Between
shit,
Worlds
man.
is pretty much my top for the 3DS.
That's tough, bro. That's too tough. That's so
My
many great
favorite
titles.
game for 3DS would probably have to be Face Raiders. No, right.
Oh, fuck off.
New Leaf.
It's definitely Codename Steam for me. That was my.
Shut up.
One of my favorites actually is Curtain Call Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm, and I fucking hate rhythm games normally, but it's one of my
What?
favorite games on there. Like I fucking love that shit.
Don't you like Rhythm Heaven?
No, that's not me. I
Oh.
suck at rhythm games, man. I'm still trying to get past level 2 and fucking Ulala Space Channel 5 shit.
Galactus Mouse moving, but I don't hear him over retro.
Mario Kart 7. I know it's not. A lot of people don't.
A lot of people think Kid Icarus Uprising, or a couple people now.
Kid Icarus Uprising. Like, come on,
Mario
man.
Kart
It's
7's
just
great.
Bravely Default. Like, it's too much shit. It's too much.
Tamagotchi Life, Super Smash Bros. For 3DS.
I wouldn't put it in the top. It's a great game.
I would put that shit top. Yo.
All right, Galactus, do you have a pick? What's your favorite 3DS game?
It's tough. I did absolutely love Kid Icarus, but then I'm kind of with you as well with Link Between Worlds. You know what? I don't actually know. There's quite a few that I really loved. I loved New Leaf.
3D Land's great. 3D Land.
I would say the game that just like, if I was to show somebody, hey, 3DS, this awesome system, this is, the game I would show them would probably be, and I know it hasn't aged well for you, Juice, as you just mentioned, but Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Well, visually, I would definitely show that off.
Oh my God. It's just,
Dark Moon's
that's the game
great.
that like really blew me away as far as
I'll
the
tell you
3DS.
what, I'll just go with Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, Link Between Worlds.
Worlds.
The way the
Fantastic.
music starts off with just like a guitar, and then you progress in the game, and then like another instrument adds, and then some singing. Like that was one of the coolest things. I don't know any other game that's done it quite like that.
I wanted to continue through every single Zelda game afterwards when you went into the bar, into the milk bar,
Yeah.
and dude would just play the instruments and stuff and all the different types of music using the instruments. Oh fuck!
And then not to
Majora's Mask.
not to turn into Digital Foundry, but you could tell that game. I think it was the first 60 frames per second Zelda game. Honestly, if maybe even the only. When you
Even
went
with the 3D on.
when you went into the painting, it just moved so fluid. And the 3D was just so good. Like it's just hard not.
The only thing that knocks it down a little bit for me is that it is a Link to the Past world. That's the only thing. It's just so familiar.
I like that.
I mean, that's cool, but that if I was to take any points, it's because of that. It's just the.
I didn't feel
world.
I didn't feel the weapon. You could get weapons at any point. Necessarily, felt like the game was designed fully around that because.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was just like struggling, and I just looked and it's like, oh, get the bombs. If you get the bombs first, go to this dungeon first because it's just like without the bombs, this dungeon's like ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's doable, but it's so much. I don't know if it was the bombs or whatever item, and it was like this dungeon just definitely you want that item for. So it was almost.
I go back and replay that.
But I definitely want to replay that. And somebody mentioned way long ago about getting 3DS ports on Switch, and that one didn't really utilize the second screen to like anything that they couldn't do.
It also, more importantly, it had the best grass cutting in any Zelda ever. Because once your sword could do like the wave beam and stuff, the wave beam would cut through the whole grass, all the grass like parts,
and you could move.
So
Satisfying.
Was it that?
so satisfying.
I feel like you could moving and your sword felt a little bit. It felt right the way the sword came out. He swung it kind of in an arch instead of in older games.
It was a much wider arc, whereas like in Link to the Past, you'd only like do half his body.
Mm-hmm.
Almost, but this one
Someday I
was
hope
wider.
Robert plays Link to the Past because he's talking about people and playing classic games. I can't
What did you
wait
say,
someday.
Joe?
I
It'll
can't wait
happen.
someday. Hopefully, it makes
Mhm.
your back of the backlog
Put
before
that whack ass Yakuza down and play Link to
What?
the Past. Hell,
Well, hold on. This is good current game. I gotta play current game in the
Alright.
backlogs.
What
One
3D
thing I
Zeldas haven't
actually
you played yet?
Which one?
Which 3D Zeldas haven't you played yet?
Haven't I played? Dude, I haven't played majority of Zelda games technically.
Oh,
But
really?
but like I mean, I've beaten I think like
the
4.
majority.
Like majority of them. Like, yeah, I've beaten 4. It's Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild,
Link's
Link's
Awakening.
Awakening, and I got like halfway through Majora's Mask 3D, and I just stopped like.
Don't play the 3D version. Get out of here with that.
Really? You wouldn't
I like it.
recommend
Yeah,
it?
I don't recommend 3D version.
For which one? Majora's
Really?
Mask?
Go play the original one.
I always stick to the original, yes, but Majora's Mask 3D is really good for 2 reasons. One, the 3D, looking at the moon in 3D is awesome. And two, the Bomber's Notebook is way better in the 3DS
I
version. Way
completely agree with
better.
that.
great quality
Completely
life on
agree.
it.
But that's not enough of the game.
No, because
for
like
me.
it ruined the swimming, and I definitely
Ah.
the N64 is much better, obviously, but
Mm.
the 3DS
don't-
version
Everything with
has
the
access to
Deku,
all.
your Deku Link, like even that is ruined. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't play it that way.
I never
Wow.
even. I don't think I've ever even seen Ocarina of Time 3D like in person on a 3DS.
Yeah, no, I haven't
It,
either.
Oh, really?
is
Oh,
really,
man,
it is really
It's
good
so
3D.
good.
I should. I don't know.
Yeah,
Why.
I
so good.
legit completed that shit and
Oh, yeah.
loved it. I still prefer the N64 version because hey
Yeah.
man, it's me.
But it has
um,
gyro aiming, doesn't it? I don't know
does.
why the fuck I didn't buy that game.
What about for you, Clock? You don't like the Majora's Mask, or you don't care for it as much either? The 3D
I turned it
Majora's Mask.
off. I turned it off,
Yeah, I
dude.
stopped playing it.
I had all the same nitpicks. I agree with retro. It has a great quality of life in it. At the end of the day, you got 2 screens, you got gyro. It's the quality of life is there, and yeah, and a Bomber's Book was exactly what you needed. But I mean, there's the old school side of me, with the graphics and stuff. But then it's also the controls and stuff like that with some of the key things like the Deku Scrub and the Zora swimming. I couldn't stick with it. I just could not. Stick
I
with
had
it.
trouble
Even,
with the.
the go run when you roll into like even that's off. The
I thought it was. I thought that was almost not a deal breaker, but I hated that section on the N64.
yeah, it's even worse on 3D on 3DS.
If
Oh,
that's
when
got
you're
worse,
trying to,
I ain't gonna
Oh,
play.
trying to roll up the snow parts, isn't it? And you
Yeah.
got to be
What
like
a-
so bang on perfect. It's hard
Yeah.
as shit.
Gotta get good, man.
Get good.
Man,
That's one thing I actually still wanted
I
to
did
say
it.
about A Link Between Worlds, which nobody mentions at all. Like it is in like probably my top 5 games with the best 3D effect. A Link Between Worlds, like you have attacks where Link, for example, shoots fire, or he can fly up and he comes fucking flying out of that 3DS. Man, it's so sexy, the 3D in that game.
Nintendo was so clever with how they programmed it as well, like, with the characters like leaning back.
Mm.
Because I think I saw a developer video where they like turned it to the side and basically the characters and most of the world is like
Oh,
at an
yeah,
angle
I
like
saw
that.
that too. There was
That's how
a
they actually
video on
programmed the
YouTube.
game. So like when you see the game upwards like that, that's why it looks like you can see
Yeah.
their whole body.
It was
They are
yeah, I
essentially
remember
leaning
that.
back.
So
Well, that always
Yeah.
bugged me. Not truly bugged me, but it was one of the quirks, I guess, of the original. Is that he's literally on a 2D plane, but the environment's like a top down, and it always kind of. I always thought that was kind of funny. I don't know. It didn't bother me, but it was just like, yeah, he's like he's like sideways laying on the ground the way he's moving, the way the view is. And I think A Link to the Past, I can't remember. That was more, it's not like you just want to see his hat. If you're directly above, it'd be stupid. All you'd see is a round hat. So they had to do something.
Yeah.
But
I think they talked about that with the remake of Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
How they slanted him and because again you'd be seeing the top of his head if they
Well,
didn't do it that way.
You know what though? I mean, hey, the 35th Zelda anniversary's coming up. Maybe they'll have a Majora's Mask
triple pack?
remaster
Yeah.
remake.
People waiting on that triple pack. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
So Dave97 asked if anybody interested in the Ask Iwata book. I just heard about that like last week.
Yeah, me too.
I do want to get it because honestly,
Oh.
it's like I don't read a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah, I want to read about Iwata.
Is it basically, him?
I didn't read about what it
Yellow
is.
Day compiled.
I'm assuming it's like the highlights of those, but I didn't read like this the breakdown of what the book is.
Yeah, I will totally get that.
Yeah, I'm 100% going to get it. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, to be honest.
And then Ipster's had a question, and we'll talk about E3 coming up, but has anybody noticed that hardly any hype for E3 anywhere? I think it's just because no one really knows what it's gonna be. But I looked it up, and it has a 3-day. It has a date, starting on Saturday to Wednesday or whatever, Tuesday. And then I thought somebody else was trying to, and I don't know who I was watching, Alana Pierce. Somebody was like, E3 is going to be like spread over like 2 months, and I'm like, I think that was last year. They kind of had something, but this feels like
Not a good idea.
It's a little more focused, but yeah, we haven't talked about it, but we want to anyway. We'll talk about Microsoft 2 weeks before. We'll talk about Nintendo and Microsoft and third parties, and then Nintendo the week before. If Sony was there, when we'd do it 3 weeks ahead and start with them or maybe combine, but either way.
EA
Yeah, we'll see. But I agree, it's just too much unknown. I guess it could end up being cool, or it could end up being just kind of lame.
Well, I think for us, I honestly think it's gonna be no different. I think it's literally just gonna be the shows at the scheduled times how they normally do it, and then for the press and everybody, they're gonna have it, some weird online thing, which we might be able to have demos or something at home now, something like that. But
what about
I really don't think it's gonna be a big difference for us.
Treehouse? Do you think they're gonna try to do some kind of?
I think they'll do a Treehouse, and they'll
Yeah.
just have it
Well,
live
yeah.
stream,
I think
Same
Xbox
thing, like-
will probably do something too. Where
If there's a Zelda
think-
game here, there'll certainly be a treehouse.
Man, if there's
I
not a
think
Zelda
unless
game,
you're
Right.
Robert and you're playing like Arms with Miyamoto and shit, it's not gonna be any different than living at home.
He was there. I don't remember.
Yabuki So Sony said they're not going to be participating, or they haven't signed up for it, but Ratchet and Clank comes out like right before.
yeah, like
and,
June 11th or something, right?
And I don't expect
Sony. We don't need to promote that shit.
I don't expect them to do any kind of like state of play until after that game, because they just did one for that game. So
State of Play's been exactly the fucking same. Like they have nothing to show for E3.
I would be curious to see, if like Nintendo, we don't know Sony or Nintendo like anything for after like August for their systems. So
Same for Microsoft. We don't know.
well, they got
we don't know
Halo
anything.
scheduled for holiday. If that
We don't know that either.
but we don't know that for sure.
That's a
The
good
thing
deal.
is, I
The
think
only
that's
thing we
where-
know
that's
is
why-
golf, right?
That's why I'm not like too crazy hyped to kind of like what you said. It's just
Yeah.
it's just because of the scenario that we're still in, the world is in, and how everything has gone over the last year, even how the last E3 was affected, and how this one's still being affected. Konami isn't going, Sony isn't going, and there was rumors that E3 was being cancelled at one point. So it's just so many scenarios where you're just like, man, I want to be hyped, but I don't know what's going on.
We don't know what to be hyped
We
about.
don't know what to be hyped about, or what we are hyped about. They're already like 4 years old, like Metroid Prime 4 and
Bayonetta 3.
and then Bayonetta and all this stuff. So it's just a strange. It's just a strange.
mean,
No more
situation.
Heroes 3 though, son.
I mean,
And the
I'll
trailer,
be
so
I'll
good.
be I'll be hyped once I'm sitting down in front of the monitor
Yeah.
and reacting to whatever director or whatever is about to happen. Then yeah.
Because I didn't think I was gonna be excited for that last Nintendo Direct until I sat down. I was like, all right, countdown's going on.
Yeah,
I'm getting
it gets you
excited.
excited.
And
Gets
then
you
it
buzzed.
was-
Let's do a Juice Crew live reaction.
I think we
I
should.
mean, I could help myself. I could hype myself up really and go full in. I think I was watching a video. Was it Rob's maybe? And he was like talking about like Donkey Kong and and all this stuff. And just like, man, as soon as you start talking about 3D Donkey Kong or something, or a new Donkey Kong,
The
it's like,
potential.
yeah, like, it's like, let's fucking go, man. Let's go. It's what I need. Let's go. You want to get hyped? I could do that if I wanted to, but I think I'm just a bit more in the realistic zone right now, where everything's just so messed up and chaotic. It's just a matter of just waiting to see what happens.
What about Retro's
And then-
new game?
Yeah, man. I'm telling, and Monolith Soft's new game.
Monolith
Yo.
Soft's new
Monolith
game.
Soft
Yeah.
has potential.
You ain't getting any of
I
it
was
yet.
joking with Retro,
Man,
obviously.
we're getting a new baiting Kaido. I can't forget.
That
Was
shit
it
is-
baiting
that shit is
baiting?
But
funny.
I think they've had enough time.
Batten Kaitos.
I would
Baiting
not
Kaido.
be. I would almost be surprised if Monolith's game isn't shown at some point this year. Because
This year?
yeah.
You're lucky if you're even gonna get Breath of the Wild. We're gonna
I
get
don't
like
think we're
fucking
getting Breath of the Wild.
Kirby Star Allies 2 or some shit like that. Is the big
Skyward
one.
Sword HD tells me that we're not getting Breath. I mean, it doesn't for sure, but
the next Kirby game, if you remember, he did say he wants the next Kirby game to like shock the world. He's like he really wants to impress people with his next Kirby game.
it
So,
has
hey,
He's got
potential.
that?
Yeah. I have to find the quote. I don't know the exact quote, but it's like
Well, the
something
last game was
along the
shocking. I'll tell you that.
lines. He said he wants to impress. So he said I have to find.
I mean,
hello,
Gonna get Kirby VR and shit.
you know, Nintendo put out their sales. They have 6 games on the Switch over 20 million, and 2 of which are close to 30. You know, that's unheard of, especially on your first 4 years. Like,
Mario Kart and
Can
Animal
we get a
Crossing were
Kirby
over
game
30 million.
Mario World style?
are they over 30?
I thought it was 35 and 32,
Or
respectively.
which one?
For Mario Kart and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, both of those.
Okay, so
are
they're over.
Kirby,
They're
yeah.
30, but there was 6 over
Yeah.
20 million, and it's like
That's
you're telling
insane.
me you can't give some bigger budgets to like the Yoshis, the Kirby team, you know, and like put out.
It might be.
Do
I
what?
don't know.
It doesn't have to be a Breath of the Wild completely mind blowing, but look at the jump from Mario Kart Wii to Mario Kart 8. Like the visuals, obviously, but the new mechanics they could implement, and then all the little details. Imagine just getting a little more, maybe a bigger team and a little more time and budget to make
Isn't
like
that
a
what they
3D
just-
Kirby game.
Isn't that what they just said during their investors meeting? Is that they've been investing in their IP, and basically, the way it was worded was basically they're going to be third-party companies are going to be making games with Nintendo IPs. They're investing in that more because it
Hope
worked out
so,
so well
'cause-
with Metroid Prime 4. So they're going to continue.
But who
Why
do
do
you?
you have to say that?
Who would you like? Let's just think about some of the Japanese developers, kind of building off that. Which studios or which developers would you give what franchises to? Let's say you got Square, you got Capcom, Bandai. You know, like, is there a
Only
franchise?
Japanese.
Well, just thinking from Nintendo, you know, first they're probably going to approach Japanese developers first.
Give
think.
Monolith 100% of Zelda. Like zero Nintendo input, 100%
I don't know.
Monolith
I'm pretty
Zelda.
happy
I
with
wanna
their
see
Zelda games.
that.
So
I want to see that shit, man.
I'd rather see them tackle something else.
I think Al Newman's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I'm
think he's
saying
alright.
he's not. I'm saying he's not. Just asking the question.
Just
like,
don't give like a 3D platformer to the Sega Sonic team. That's that's all I ask.
Hate.
I was honestly like,
Star Fox to Ubisoft. I mean, I already said that a billion
Yeah.
times. That team that did, Starlink.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
I want Platinum Games to do a third-person Metroid game. That's what I want. And I
Is
want it
that
to be
serious
like-
or are you fucking around?
I want it to be like I want it to be action.
I-
I want
honest-
it,
You
I
want
want it to
another
be
other
action.
M?
I want it to be action-packed like other M, right? I don't want any exploration. All I want is Samus blowing shit up. That's all I want.
There's actually something I legit have been wishing for. That I guess that would be like an answer too. I want Koei Tecmo to give me a Super Mario Warriors game. Like I'm not kidding. Like I want that shit. Like you're fighting like thousands of Koopa Troopas with like mega fireball combos and shit. Like that's what
I always had that idea, but as an RPG. So I would say give that to Square, and let them do a full-on Mushroom Kingdom, or even a Zelda RPG or something. Just
Everybody's gonna cry about Paper Mario RPG again. If you give Square that, everybody's gonna complain. But it's not Super Mario RPG.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, it would have to be a different take on. Like, I wouldn't mind You know, the Fire Emblem series is known for what strategy and all that, but it's got the big cast of characters and stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing like just kind of a more adventure type game, third person with some decent third person combat.
No.
Fire Emblem.
And like a Fire Emblem.
Give Fire Emblem to Namco, and then I want a sword fighting game like Soul Calibur with Fire Emblem characters.
That would work.
Let's go.
Ooh.
But I wouldn't mind just like
Juice, I'd rather have Juice's thing.
like a Witcher 3 kind of situation, but with Fire Emblem, in a Fire Emblem universe where you have a third person
Ooh.
and with better combat, hopefully a little bit better combat, but still.
we already have Collective's thing. It's called Smash Brothers.
Eh.
Oh, what's Smash Bros. Got to do with Soul Calibur? Come on now.
Because you got 10 like fucking Fire Emblem characters that can fight like you want, like
Swords.
So who would you give a 3D Kirby or Donkey Kong to?
I would
I
give
was
it
thinking
to.
about that.
Oh, but you can't give it to the Nintendo team, right? So
You give it to Playtonic. That's what
I'd give it to. The guys that did Balan Wonderworld, yo, man.
can it be
They're
any,
really going
like,
to abilities, yo.
why you playing games,
slacker with
man?
Kirby.
dude, give it to Insomniac. Say what you want, but
Insomniac
if you
is
have
owned by
if you have
Sony.
like a ratchet looking game, with that quality of Donkey Kong or some shit like that, it doesn't need to be fucking Fifth Element, but like
Insomniac-
those graphics with
Now
shit.
you know who? You know,
Sony is a
Media
Sony company.
Molecule, yo. Media Molecule. I want to give it to Media
What have
Molecule.
they done?
Media Molecule,
They
Tearaway,
did
Little Big
Dream.
Planet, Little Big
They
Planet.
did
Well,
Dream.
Dream.
Sackboy- right?
I was
Sackboy to me.
thinking of Little Big Planet, but I forgot about Tearaway.
I watched some streams of Sackboy. That feels like it's a 3D version of Yoshi and
It's
Kirby.
kinda like
the way those games are now, where they're just
Yeah, I
It's-
could see that.
pretty simplistic. Not a lot of.
You see,
Not
you
much
see
to
what
do.
happens? You see what happens when you start thinking about other developers doing these games? You start going, you know what? Kirby's Star Allies is absolute fucking fire. When you start mentioning shit like fucking Tearaway and all
It's
that.
fine the way it is.
I was trying to think like something for Capcom, but it's like you guys mentioned, they're so into basically Resident Evil and Monster Hunter right now. I don't know what
Yeah,
you would give them. Like,
I wouldn't
For
trust them with much.
Capcom, you could give
That
them Fatal
Metroid.
Frame. You could give them Fatal Frame.
well, that's
so they
already
could
being
actually-
made by a third party, but yeah.
Yeah, but they're not really making anything now.
Yeah,
so
that would be. I guess I would trust them with Fatal Frame, but
Is their IP? I'm sure Capcom would do something
Yeah.
cool with it.
Metroid
we
has
should be able
never
to trust
been
them
like,
with Zelda. We can't trust them with Zelda no more.
the way they're doing like Resident Evil now. If you do,
wait there, man.
for example, in like the 3 and 2 remake style, but then you make that into a Metroid game, like I like to see that.
Yeah, I
Like,
was honestly.
experiment with that shit.
Who done
Give
Minish
the,
Cap? Who done Minish
Again,
Cap? What's that
Ubisoft
Capcom?
again. Give them Kid Icarus
Yeah,
because Immortals seems very Kid Icarus.
yeah, that would have been a good fit for Kid Icarus.
Oh wait there, Capcom were doing. There we go. We're talking about Capcom and Kid Icarus. They were doing Dead Phoenix. Remember on the GameCube, the cancelled game.
Oh
kind of,
man,
That kind of could have been a Kid
Dead
Icarus.
Things is dead.
And they will still
And then
bring
also,
that back before they bring F-Zero back.
Yeah.
What about who would you give adventure game, a 3D adventure Splatoon game to?
Mm.
Do you think the main team?
It's tough.
I kind of think I don't know his
I
name.
think Nintendo got that on lock, man.
Yeah, I don't know who the main guy is, but I think he's.
Yeah, they're almost there with it.
I feel like he's kind of stuck in the creator. I think he really likes what he's done with that.
That dude is a crackhead, man. I swear.
And I think-
he's crazy.
I don't know what his name is, but he always wears the lab coat. Every
Yeah.
parent.
Oh,
Oh, you mean the
Oh.
Splatoon creator?
He's in character the whole time. It's like
I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
What about him?
I would
But-
trust them to do it, but they had to put in the effort to actually build up the. I don't understand.
Free.
Honestly,
They
you know,
got
you
me
know
pretty
who could
E3.
Build the
Who can
lore out
handle-
for Splatoon. It could make it bigger than what it is even now.
I think someone that can handle is the what's their name? The guys that did It Takes Two No Way Out. Joseph Ferris. He could work on. Honestly, I was thinking give him a Mario and Luigi game so that
Co-op.
he could be like a
Ooh.
co-op Mario and Luigi
Mhm.
game.
Oh,
bro, he would be
that's cool.
incredible with that. It would be that team would be, it would be one of the best. Damn,
Give him Dream
it'd be
Team
it
too.
may be amazing. Like honestly, I want that super bad, and I mean, he literally talks about how he's inspired by Nintendo, how he loves Nintendo.
Yeah,
all that type
too
of
bad
stuff.
he's got to use
Who
the
is-
phone app to do voice chat instead of just
Oh,
being able
Yeah,
to plug it into a
Yeah.
controller.
And too
Dude,
bad,
the clone
too bad
in
the
jungle.
you know, the Switch isn't, you know, quite up to par to quite put It Takes Two in a good condition.
The
You
Switch
know,
can do it. It's just that Nintendo won't unlock the bitch to let it do it.
Yeah, I got-
Namco still
I mean,
does
the fucking
Ace Combat.
DS
Namco,
could handle voice
Namco
chat.
could do Star Fox. There you go.
Yeah, if you're thinking
that-
Japanese companies, I would say that'd be, you know, just based on what T was just saying though. I never voice chatted on my PS4 until this year with the PS5, and one of the things Rob of Rule of Two always talked about was just how, and I could have done this on Xbox. I'm pretty sure he does it. He says the convenience of sometimes he just wants to plug his headphones into his controller at night, you know, and play with the game audio like that easy. And since I bought that Turtle Beach wired headset, and it's got batteries to power the speakers, but it just plugs into the controller. I gotta say, I've used that way more than I expected. I thought just do it for streams, and it's like that is nice to like, you know, it's getting late, and I still want to have the good sound and stuff. It's actually the bass is actually better in the headset than in my living room setup. And I'm like, that is quite the convenience. The fact that, I mean, Nintendo was always about, they used to always be about options. And like, just something as simple as that. Just plugs earbuds or a headset into a controller and there's your game audio, instantly switches over. Like,
Yeah.
and then just
Somebody
voice
left me, because I was talking about similar things during my my live stream, what was Sunday, and some dude, Mr. Ukazi or whatever his name is, left me this fucking wall of text, you know, talking about how he doesn't agree with me, talking about, you know, because I was talking about online features and stuff. They always try to overcomplicate what you're saying, you know, to make a point. You notice that how they try to overcomplicate the simplest.
You just want to be like
world.
Microsoft and Xbox. No, I want Nintendo to be
they throw
Nintendo,
that in
but
there. I think that was in his comment too. It was like a wall of text, and I'm just like, why do people do that? Like, these are very simple, universal things. It has nothing to do with Microsoft. Like, it's not like Microsoft and Sony only have terrible ideas. You know, like they have a lot of good ideas that other people should be using that they didn't come up with themselves. They just saw what maybe computers were doing or fucking phone, whatever. So I don't know. I don't understand that type of Nintendo thing. It's just like, you wanted to be like everybody else. Yeah, I wanted to do the good things that everybody else does. Yeah.
I want to be able to mess
Exactly.
with
Bring back
want
We Speak. That's what we need.
We need something more than that. But Retro, what did I send you yesterday? What was I sending you yesterday that you appreciated?
Screenshots?
Screenshots for Days Gone. It's beautiful. I knew you would appreciate that. No one on Twitter is going to give a shit if I post that. I just sent it directly to you, and you replied. It pops up on my phone. It pops up on my PlayStation simultaneously. Basically, I can reply on one or the other, and you could send me a screenshot of something you're playing. And
I
it's
sent you screenshots of
like-
when I started
that
alloy thing game.
oh yeah, yep.
Horizon.
Horizon.
Like,
Yeah,
is that a
thanks for
bad thing? Like, me and you, Juice, I was on my PS4, you were on your PS5, and you were sharing with me your gameplay, and we were talking voice chat, and I don't even fucking pay for PSN. Like, how is that a bad thing for Nintendo to do? Like, what is so bad about that? I don't understand. Help me get there. Like, I always offer to people that, you know, leaving those walls of text or, hey, just come on, we'll debate it. You want to talk about it online? You know, we'll talk about it on
Yeah, I get them.
stream.
I get
Nobody
the
ever
fear.
wants to do that, though.
I get the fear that, you know, just having a third clone, you know, like we call them the twins, the HD twins, to have a third system that's almost identical lineup and stuff. Yeah, I don't want that. I want Nintendo to still
That stuff doesn't
put their
make it
spin on it. But yeah, the fact that I
Every
can't.
company should take the good from each other. It's not bad to learn from each other. There's a reason you have like really cool fucking controllers now, PlayStation, Xbox, because they took inspiration from
Yeah, DualSense.
Nintendo.
You think
And like, yeah, exactly. And like, you
Nintendo
need
wasn't
that
doing
kind
what
of
they
shit.
do?
Like, I'm in a fucking chat room with like Clocked and Robert, and I'm like, oh, something funny happened in Animal Crossing. I'm like a fucking hobo with my phone, taking a screenshot of the TV and shit,
I hate that
sending it in Hangouts and shit. I wish I could do what I'm doing with the PlayStation, just send it
Right.
via the Switch, like it's just.
And you don't have to
Oh,
pay for that. You don't have to pay for that on Xbox or PlayStation to send a
There's easier
screenshot
ways
to a
share
friend. Like,
your photos on Wii U than it is on Switch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Like,
like,
that's
yeah, that
embarrassing.
shit exactly. Yeah, that's basically what you're asking for again. Like it's Miiverse. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've said from the beginning that they literally went backwards with the
Just
Wii U,
think-
like in terms of
the
just
success of the Switch,
friends.
maybe Miiverse would be even more of a hassle for them to moderate. Because there's way more people going to be using it. They didn't know it was going to be this massive. But just think if Miiverse had been on the Switch with the success of the Switch. Like,
Would have been great.
but there's, there was people on Wii U. I don't get why I don't get why you guys care about Miiverse. I've never posted on there. That's why you don't get it, because you've never used it. If you used it, you would get it. Like,
Yeah.
and I know, I'm pretty sure it was AGL tried to make a big deal because Sony was they weren't, what do they call that, on PS4. If I shared a screenshot, some random person could like the photo. There was like a community. I actually never found where I could go look at other people's photos, and they're not.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
On PS5, they just kind of decided not to do that. Just post them to Twitter and your friends directly.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, they're getting rid of communities. They're getting rid of their Miiverse. I'm like, dude, I've had 4 years. I never once used the community. I had maybe 5 people over the course of 4 years. Random person reacted to my screenshot. Like it wasn't. They got rid of it because it wasn't. No one was using it.
It's like them getting rid of PlayStation Home. Nobody.
Like if they had done it better. The negative is that they didn't do it to an extent where it was really easy and user friendly. That should be the negative, not the fact that they didn't do it on PS5, because they didn't do it because no one used it. Like it wasn't. But they could have tried harder. I do agree they could have done something like that.
Everybody was fucking using Miiverse. Like everybody who had the freaking Wii U was using
there's
Miiverse.
tons of posts. You didn't have.
Yeah.
You could ask a question and get an answer. Like no matter if it was a big or small game, popular or not,
impressive.
somebody would. The
And
biggest.
that's
You could be
because it
in
was
the
tied-
game,
it was tied with
say-
the system.
Show them exactly where you are in that bitch, and say, "Hey, how do I clear this?" And they'll get right back to you. That is fucking awesome.
Like, because it was tied to the system. It was great that you turn it on and immediately the top screen wasn't the menu. It was Miiverse. It was the Mii's coming down, running at you, and then there's the the icons, and everyone's talking about something in the game, and yeah, it's
Can I just say,
unbelievable,
It's
unbelievable
a
that they
completely
do
different
it.
topic, but we forgot to do Rob's suggested main topic idea. I'm quite sad.
Attractive mothers in video games.
Yeah,
We'll say that next week.
that could have been a whole podcast. I think.
Samus is that one's. I mean, as a Metroid started following her around. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, her being a mother, or was there a game where she actually?
Yeah, she did. I was thinking you're the playable character, and then the mother. So like that's why I wasn't thinking of like side characters that have a mother. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was thinking like.
Were you thinking
you're
of
the character.
Resident Evil 8 when you thought
The
that?
hottest milfs in gaming.
No, I was just thinking it's Mother's Day, most attractive women, most attractive mothers. But the only thing is there's not a lot of characters where you play the character and you have a mother. If you notice, there's not a lot of I don't really know of a lot of them.
I tell you who I thought of. I thought of Jade from Beyond Good and Evil, just because
okay.
she's looking after all the orphans in the beginning of it. A bit.
So you counted her too?
Yeah.
No,
And I
it's
forgot
gotta be a
Bayonetta
legit
had
mother,
it.
dude. It's gotta be a legit mother.
You're reaching, man. You're reaching.
That
Everything.
That's what I was saying. I could only think of fucking Earthbound, where you have this,
I thought of,
Ness's mom.
Lady D from Resident Evil 8 immediately when you said that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can only think of like fighting game characters because usually that's what they do in later iterations. It'll be the child.
Yeah,
of,
Sonya's mom or Sonya's daughter later on.
Oh yeah,
You got both Eva and the boss in Metal Gear Solid 3. Eva is Ocelot's mum, and the boss is the mother of Snake and Liquid, and also I tell you what, retro will know, and actually maybe Rob or maybe T actually or everyone, Mad Moxie is a super hot
Hell
one.
yeah. That's a
Yeah,
really
she's
good
the
one.
mother of Ellie.
Borderlands.
Yeah, in
Oh!
Borderlands. Mad Moxie.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty
There we
direct.
go.
I'm trying to remember because, Bayonetta's story is kind of all over the place. That little girl they hinted at was her was like a daughter, but she didn't actually have a daughter, right? Like,
No.
Doesn't matter,
It
man.
was
Is a stepdad a dad?
yeah, that's true.
I'd say he's a dad,
that
bro.
was no, that was
Wasn't that her younger self?
No, it was Cereza. It was her
Yeah,
younger self.
that's
Then
right.
she was looking after her younger self.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah. Mad Moxie wins. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she wins 100%.
I'll take
You
Lady
have to
D.
look-
Mad Moxie, that's it.
Matt Roxy wins.
Done.
So yeah, basically this was a Q&A session for most of this podcast. So I titled it an epic Q&A session because I couldn't think of anything, and with Terrell not being here, he's usually the guy that reads us the sales numbers. So I figure we'll do that next week. I don't really.
Oh yeah,
It's impressive and it's crazy these sales. Like T was pointing out. You expect the success a lot of us, I won't speak for everyone, but a lot of people expected with the success, funding more games, bringing older franchises back, new entries, because there's less risk involved.
Forgetting Mario Golf.
And, it's like that. It's almost at this point, it's almost like makes me more salty to see some of these sales numbers and then still realize, nothing's really changed. But we can discuss that.
Because that was the excuse, right? The Wii U's not selling.
Yep.
We don't have any games. Okay, well, Switch doesn't have that problem. Where are these storied franchises? Where are these?
Stupid is the Wii U wasn't selling, and that's why they were fucking pumping out shit like crazy. So if you have no money, you can pump out shit like crazy.
That was my point.
You got like Breath of the Wild on the fucking like Wii U alone funded Nintendo for the next 20 goddamn years. Where's my shit? It's like you're getting really cool games, but you're getting like 2 or 3 games a year at this point, Like I don't count all those fucking ports and shit, if you're taking out new shit, Like I don't even count Breath of the Wild. Fuck that shit. It's a Wii U game. Like I don't want to hear that shit, Like new shit that you don't get that you're getting way too little from the fucking disgusting amount of money they made off these fucking first top 10 Switch games alone.
When does that? Did that come out or a demo?
It's like next week. It's like next week.
My daughter's going to be buying that on her Nintendo Switch. She said,
Yeah.
I'm edging toward Miitopia. I can't even lie.
She goes,
Yeah, that Miitopia hype.
Who makes what? Is it internal?
I think it's internal. I think it's internal. Then Grezzo's also helping with it or something.
So before you said that, I had forgotten about that one. I was thinking, and then Pokemon Snap's not even technically Nintendo, right?
Bandai Namco.
So
Bandai.
What Mario
It's
Golf?
an exclusive as a Nintendo game. This is Bandai.
Well, I just told you
really?
they said they were investing in other companies.
I know.
To make
I'm just trying to think of what Nintendo's actually putting out this year.
I just think we might have to realize that internal Nintendo are going to be focused on a few core IPs and a few smaller ones now. I don't think they're not in the N64 mindset anymore, or that type of 3DS mindset now to pump out that level of internal games.
I was told that the reasoning for that was that Nintendo games just they take up so much space on from the year, and that other companies can't sell their late ports, their late shoddy ports with those Nintendo games out there. That's what that wall of text was telling me as well. So you guys need to go respond to that wall of text.
Because I mean, they're leaving it open, right? This year, the biggest game. I mean, Pokemon Snap's probably gonna do really well, but Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter Stories, then Bravely Default 2. I mean, the door's been open for third party to come on, make an exclusive game, and have a chance for it to sell because there hasn't been the stiffest of competition from Nintendo themselves. I mean, Animal Crossing sold huge last year, but
That's already over a year ago.
But COVID juice.
Anyway, I think it's so fucking stupid. Like, oh, because Nintendo releases a game like fucking Pokemon Snap this month. Like if you put Returnal, for example, on the Switch, not gonna say no. It's like people who buy this can also buy Returnal now on the PS4. So if the game was on the Switch, what prevents you from buying it on the Switch? Like, no, I don't want to hear that stupid
People always come
Nintendo
up with
release.
it's excuses, man. That's all
Dumb
it is.
shit. It's a fuck off.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's just weird. And I know game development costs have gone up. You know, that's one of the things could be a factor why Nintendo's kind of not done bigger jumps in power. You know, from GameCube to Wii is it keeps development costs down. But maybe they're finally at the point where they're like, yeah, we need bigger teams on these games, and you know we can't put out as many. Which that's fine. But you just hopefully when the games come out, they're really good. Then
they have to make sure that these games being resold have a window. You know, when they resell these games, they need a window to sell. You know,
I saw on Twitter today that Baldur's Gate
came out and it was a trash port, by the way.
It's coming to the PC for the very first time. I didn't realize it was console exclusive. Dark Alliance.
Oh, Dark Alliance.
I didn't realize. Yeah,
Dark Alliance was not a PC game, and I always thought it was for some reason back in the day.
Yeah, because I remember the old third parties, they can't compete with Nintendo's games, so that you know they already have incentive not to put their game on the system. Well, I mean, tell that to Monster Hunter's always done well on Nintendo handhelds, but you know that game sold like 5 million copies in the first week or something. So
yeah, it's a crazy number.
I don't know what it is, and who knows what the rest of the second half of the year is going to look like. I mean, it's got to be more.
Good,
got to be more in Pokemon remakes and No More Heroes 3.
I forgot. Yeah, the Pokemon remake.
You got to have something. You know.
Yeah, I forgot. What's coming?
Brilliant Diamond and something else. Silver.
Is it Pearl?
Pearl. Pearl. Oh, Shining Pearl.
Shining Pearl.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
I got that. No More Heroes in August and Pokemon in probably November, and that's all we know.
Mario Golf.
What you got next month is Mario Golf.
Well, I mean, I meant for the second half.
Oh, I guess it's not.
For this port. They had to make room for this remaster because that was great, wasn't it?
I'm telling you, I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now.
Rash.
Second half is gonna be awesome. You know, it's gonna be crazy.
We'll talk about that in our E3 predictions. I want you to be right. I just don't have.
I got to shout out to Terrell. This is for Terrell.
I guess what counts as awesome. You know, I don't know.
That's for you, Terrell. That's for you.
I would
say,
like.
You think three Nintendo games would be good? You think
last year we had two. You got Mario, Paper Mario, and Age of Calamity. That was it.
So if you had three mixed with like No More Heroes and stuff like that, think that'd be solid? You think you'd be like, all right,
Nintendo game, go.
I don't know. It's tough.
We'll talk about that.
For me, as long as it's exclusive to Nintendo, it's like a Nintendo game. Like, you know, especially like what we talked about with so many companies, like third-party companies making Nintendo games, this kind of shit. You know, like you're not telling me that fucking Smash is not a Nintendo game because Bandai Namco made it. You know, like.
No, they didn't make it.
Yeah, they
existed.
That and was it How Loud After technically or something?
Yeah.
That's not Nintendo.
So, the guy was still there. He just had some minions helping him. that's not them making it.
Yeah, but it's not like it was developed. It wasn't developed by them themselves.
Then Mario and Kingdom Battle is a Nintendo game. Let me say that then. Like, come on.
It's
like,
Smash Ultimate.
It's Nintendo shit.
It says if you look, it says it's actually I think it might have been like literally developed by Bandai Namco.
Yeah, that's
like
what I thought.
Smash.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was like developed by Bandai Namco, and then Sora Limited, which is just fucking, or just Sakurai.
Shit is a Nintendo fucking game.
Sora Limited, all Sora Limited is just apparently Sakurai and his wife, apparently. So really,
there's
it's
definitely some gray area there.
So you think Sakurai was pretty hands off, huh?
Yeah, but is Sakurai Nintendo? Nah, I mean, is Sakurai's not owned by Nintendo. Sakurai is Sora, which they don't own Sora. So. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can't make technicalities, right?
Nintendo. I mean, what has he done outside of Nintendo?
I know, but that's like saying saying how Laboratory is. But we're saying like they're not Nintendo. It's not internally Nintendo. So I mean, it just because Sakurai works on it and he's not owned by the company.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, OJ might be right. There's no such thing as
It's-
second party because that's a
right.
first party game, in my opinion.
It's one thing to say, okay, well, he has a private separate company and he works, he's a contractor for Nintendo. That's one thing. And then there's another thing is this is a third fucking party company who has their own catalog of shit that they make, and they actually helped out making this game. That's way different. Those are two way different things,
I guess, but when most of your staff consists of Bandai Namco, and then you got two people that are from Nintendo, it's like kind of tough to be like, yeah, it was made by Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little.
Who's handling the programming of the fighters?
I'm sure not just Sakurai. I doubt it. I doubt it. Like I know we like this
went into fucking arthritic coma.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be.
He didn't want anybody else touching it. You think, all of a sudden,
well, he probably tells them what he wants.
They did such a great job with Metroid Prime 4. I'll let them run shot on this game. My baby, the game that I'm known for.
I'm thinking it's more like, hey, program this, and then he plays it. Says no, this change this. You know, he has final say, no doubt. But I sounds like the majority of the workers were Bandai.
Editor. Oh, here's the editor. I shot all the shit. I'm handing it off to you to edit it for me, and I still get the final edit. I still get the final say. That's the difference. Like
but in the end of the day, it's literally there's technically no Nintendo.
Well, we don't know for
we're not going to see eye to eye on this issue, Robert.
But there's no evidence to say we don't know for sure that there was not a single Nintendo employee that worked on the game. I mean,
all I see here is that it's developed by Bandai Namco Studios and Sora Limited, which technically is a Nintendo. So I mean, and we're being not. I'm not trying to break the technicalities.
And that's why I'm saying Nintendo exclusives and Nintendo games, and it's just easy. I'm not like, because if you want to go that way, then Robert and Smash is
Nintendo
not
exclusive.
Nintendo game.
Fucking Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. I don't count that shit.
It's a Nintendo game.
Yeah. Sit down with that.
Everyone thought that last one was gonna be good because they had the 2D mode and stuff.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the story mode. I enjoyed the story mode.
Why do they gotta make it so not casual, but like what I complained about Ratchet and Clank? You got this flying section, but the flying is so basic that it doesn't really add to the that's what Mario and Sonic, it's like you got a tennis game in there, but it's such a basic version of tennis that it's like it takes away from each individual thing if it's
I enjoyed this story mode, yo. Cool. It was funny.
It's me at 12 years old. But in me today, that's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be deep enough.
You can't have a skateboarding game in a when you got, I know Tony Hawk just came back. 1 and 2's coming out to Switch, actually, the remake. But when you have games that have depth and show you how you can have a skateboarding, you can't just put this simple little one button thing and basically be a mini game. Like, I wish they'd just take the Olympics games and actually flesh out,
them out
actually put some depth into each game, and you could literally just play tennis.
Like Nagano.
And it'd be just as fun as a tennis game that was like in GTA 5. There's a very solid tennis game in GTA 5. I mean, it's crazy. It could be fleshed out a little bit more, but yeah, I think we better wrap this up. I didn't realize it was past. So yeah, good discussion, good questions. I know we don't always get to them, but we get talking, and sorry. That we haven't got to as many lately, but
sorry, hipsters, you too late.
Yeah, hipster just gets here. Yeah, we're leaving. But yeah, so yeah, it was good discussion, and next week we'll be back, do it all again. So until next time.
Yakuza.